swift as Renegades, but they do take the point relatively quickly.
And we talked about Vol a little bit, and I think you would like to see more consistency out of Vol, but those moments where he does go off, for me, sell him as a Zarya, in my opinion. Jake's going to have Dragon Blade up.
Oh my goodness! The 4K from Jesus out of nowhere, in over the top, just crunching. What in the world?
You do that all you want. You want.
You know what? Sometimes after you get that good of a moment, you just gotta do some squats.
Yeah, right.
Why not?
You gotta burn off all that extra energy that you still have. Body weight squats, get you fit. Well, anyway, that is fight surprised both of us. Did not see that coming. Graviton's gonna come in. He's gonna grab 4. Do they have the follow-up? They're all caught in the archway. There's some follow-up. Train has a pulse bomb of his own. Super will charge Juvenile, and barring another Jesus miracle, they will finally take the first point.
Don't think it's going to happen this time around. I don't think he's going to have more time to do his squats here just yet. Instead, LG Evil going to take the point, but for Renegades, that last moment of heroics by Jesus made LG Evil expend more resources just to take first, so they're not going to have that Graviton here for second.
And about him a minute. A minute is nothing to sneeze at in Overwatch at all, so 3:45 on the clock to get to second, extend their time even more. Of course, the yellow marker on the ground is their progress point to win King's Row outright against Renegades here. Jesus has been the carry. Mangachu kind of quiet so far, especially since he's not on the Pharaoh, but he's going to be up on this high ground.
In over the top right now, looking for an early pickup. Here comes Soundbear from Renegades, and both teams going to be dropping the beat into this fight. A lot of pressure going in on the Jake, and how is he not dead?
So low.
Mangachu, please.
He looks on cooldown.
Shoot him! Shoot him! Oh. All right. Well,
nope.
Not happening, apparently. Jake, a cat in this life, used up one of his lives. But the moral of the story here is that Renegades is in real trouble. They don't get the Genji kill. And now Jake gets revenge. Punishes Mangachu for not finishing his plate. And oh my goodness.
Well, they just boosted Zarya and got nothing out of that either. She just walked towards it until the Ghostbuster beam faded. Train is picking up in the back line. They put up nearly no resistance. Here comes a late Earth Shatter.
It's a very late Earth Shatter by Juvenile, and it's questionable at best. That's a case where you got a kill there, but your team is nowhere close for a fall through. Yet most are going to get only one from yourself. And
nice
now Mangachu,
Jake's going to get the credit for that, but that's Train on the recon there, spotting him up, not letting him get up there for free, putting some pressure on him.
Mangachu got some of his ult back there, but I don't know what Renegades was doing. That was a lost fight from the beginning, and they still threw good money after bad. And now LG Evil with a very golden opportunity that gets that yellow box victory and finishes out right here.
Getting some of your ult back is kind of a badge of shame. Means you probably shouldn't have been in a position to pop it anyway, but I guess the refund makes you feel a little better. Jake will slice through Mangachu, gives his own life for it as this fight begins.
Well, the fight begins, and it's a much better opening here for Renegades. They're going to invest a Graviton to the future of this fight. Pulse Bomb on the Super, going to end him as Jesus gets 2 kills for cleanup. Renegades going to be pulling this right back. More heroics out from Jesus, but they got to hold this for 3 minutes, and that is not going to be easy, especially when they just invested a whole lot into that fight.
Well, they're going to have Big Bang Combo, something we haven't necessarily seen all that much tonight, not in the giant forms. I wouldn't mind a 5K off of it from Train, but they do have Pulse Bomb, Nano Boost, Graviton, and Earth Shatter. You'd think they have everything to make this work, and they should, because Renegade's going to be closing to their all-round as well.
Well, here comes Graviton. Here comes the Pulse Bomb, perhaps. There it is. Train going to take down 2, but Mangachu taking down more of the Tac Visor, cleaving through LG Evil.
Jeez.
Oh my goodness. Well, when he said he had them in his sights.
One line.
No, there was no chill.
There's no escaping Grandma's goggles with the Nano Boost on you there. You know what the most tragic thing is? He probably just stole play of the game from Jesus.
I would not doubt it. That was very clustered as far as kills go, but you know what? The next fight is already underway. LG Evil going, well, we're going to take another 10 because we have it in Mangachu. Not going to have a crazy Tac Visor this time. Immediately dispatched by Jake. Soundbear saving his life as he goes in. And now for Renegades, could be going for bad the worst here. They have to find a way of fighting this back. Super going very deep in, but now Jesus down. Jake, Dragon Blade in play. Takes off Sherlocky's head in one swipe. Moving in. You have to put the blade away, but the damage has been done here. Suddenly Renegades looking for a miracle to somehow bring this back.
Well, they're going to have to miracle right into an Earth Shatter. Not looking great for them unless they can get some sort of block out here, but they don't have the option to come out. Now Juvenile is on it. They will be blocking up. He goes down very early. I believe it was a Pulse Bomb combination with Jake, and now it is Super swinging for the fences.
Super creating some wind gusts there with that hammer, but ends up falling. Renegades' last moment effort, perhaps a little bit more than expected. expected early on here as LG Evil having troubles actually pushing them out. Vol gonna get the nano boost later on. Almost has another Graviton up. Again, just microwaving people here. See if it's going to be enough. The late Graviton comes in, pulls in two. They get the kill, and yet Renegade's still staggering up to a point. For being this far out, this has been heroic.
This is crazy. Jake comes back in with a pulse bomb onto Rob. That's really going to nerf all the healing. The numbers do appear to be in LG Evil's favor, and there are the last couple of swings with both Blade and Hammer to win map number 1 for Luminosity Gaming's Evil Squad.
So, LG Evil, perhaps a little bit of trouble there towards the end, but they looked like the LG Evil of old when they came in on attack. It's really their defense that was very suspect, thinking emoji, whatever you want to say in regards to that, where shoot the Pharah out of the sky, you know.
Or run it until they can't.
Okay.
Yay, Jesus gets it. This was an insane play.
It was quite good indeed. It was set by the Graviton, so.
Well, I guess that was the big bomb that we had earlier.
It was quite a big bang indeed.
Yeah, we got the big bomb.
Yeah.
But just breaking this apart, RNG really came out and surprised us with their offense, and a lot of that was not dealing with Mangachu. And then they come out on defense a little bit less wowing as far as their defense goes. And then they just downright, I mean, there was some ult usage there, especially on that second defense that just was pretty questionable.
They had some good defenses there at last, but I don't know. I wasn't super convinced. It really felt like LG Evil was in control the entire time, and it was a big uphill battle just by the momentum of the game up until that point. So, I mean, it's great when you get the 4 or 5K off attack visor. Congratulations. You've positioned yourself very well. And on the same note, I never went in there and went, wow, they're going to hold them. It didn't feel like it was going to happen.
Well, that's my question on Mangachu on 76. Yeah, you have those giant moments when you get nano boost and you have attack visor. He seemed quiet when he didn't have those things. When ults weren't happening, Mangachu wasn't necessarily this enormous pressure. You saw his cooldown management punished early as Jake was dead, hanging out on roof, and if you just had a Helix rocket up, he'd have been gone again. Jake came back into that fight after not being eliminated. So I think Mangachu's defensive fare is very good. I was a little surprised he didn't run it on King's Row.
Yeah.
Instead, sticking with a more meta pick of Soldier 76. It didn't impress me when he didn't have ultimates up, I think is the problem there. I think his Pharah is miles ahead of his 76.
Well, and then, yeah, talking about Ico then as the newbie on the roster, had definitely had some plays, seemed to work pretty well with them. Played a good Zarya, I would say. But then we had that moment where on second defense, he got nanoed, and then it almost looked like he was like, wait, do I go in now? Like, what's going on? Right. And then they just fell apart.
Ico is a sub for Saipe who might be off the roster. It's not clear, but let's assume for a moment that Saipe is off the roster here. Did not feel like an upgrade in the least. And again, when we go back to our analysis of Renegades, I don't think Saipe was playing badly given what he had to work with. I mean, you look at the entire RNG setup, it's all based around Mangachu. Everything. Everything else is sort of find your own luck. Jesus is able to do that because he's on Tracer. It's harder to do that in Genji. When you look back to real moments of Genji greatness, Shadowburn, when he plays for FaZe, when he was doing well, he was getting Zarya shields. He was getting orbs. He was getting all the support in the world that made him as difficult to kill when he went in. You're not going to get Shadowburn level of Genji performance if you're not investing your support skills into the Genji heavily, and you're not going to be doing that when you're making Mangachu the focal point of everything. So, I mean, you can't really expect Genji to have huge plays with how Renegades is setting it up.
To defend Ico for a moment, it's one game, first of all, and I know I agree that he didn't look like Saipe there, but also playing Zarya is difficult with a new team because you don't know, is he on the retreat to need a bubble, or is he going in, does he need a bubble? And also they're getting nano boost as Zarya, sometimes you're just like, I guess. And it looked like an I guess ultimate of like, I got boosted, I guess I'll push forward, but he was not in position to do anything.
And there were a couple other ultimates right around that same time that I was just like, I was trying to figure it out. And I even wrote down like, ult usage, is that a question? And then right after that, we had the nano visor, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just scratch that out. But no, when we're talking about teams like that revolve around one player, like Mangachu in this case on Renegades, and then you contrast that with somebody who has really strong carry, he puts on his carry pants sometimes, but also plays to the strengths of his own team, like Jake. it makes you question, should you be that team that says, hey, we've got this 1 star, what does he feel like playing? How are we going to play around it? Or are you going to be playing more of a, hey, what are we good at? How can we win games? And we're going to see some of that maybe on Temple of Anubis, but it looks like you have something to think.
I mean, the question is that for as good as he's been at points, is Mangachu good enough? I would argue that C9 in many of its incarnations, they get away with throw everything, the baby in the bathwater and the kitchen sink behind Surefour and let things go where they may, and that worked out. Mangachu definitely has his good moments, but there's also moments where he's getting lots of support and nothing is getting done. There's moments where he's on the 76 and he does just sort of get bopped by Jake. So I wonder if he's just a little bit too streaky for that to be as effective in the long term.
I don't think that should ever be your primary focus. I think that should be your backup plan if it must be. We've seen roster after roster of people who are alleged stars being built around, and they get all the support in the world, and then they dive in, so now the supports are dying, and so it's the support's fault, and then the tanks aren't there to help them, then it's the tank's fault. I don't think you can build a team around a superstar as your primary focus. You build your team, if someone emerges as a superstar, great, we can let them carry us when we need it, but it should not be your primary goal in building a team.
Yeah, and they've been very adaptive if we're talking about LG Evil, and that they don't have to worry about that. They can pivot around a lot of members of their team, and even in the moment, even after they lose a single fight or they lose a point, they can change things up and put a different foot forward that is very strong. But let's talk more specifically about Temple of Anubis coming into this one. This one's selected again by Renegades. Do they have any specific strength coming into Assault maps? I mean, what are we expecting out of them?
Assault has been ties for a lot of people. I think Anubis is just the preferred map. I don't think it necessarily matters. I think teams just don't like Hanamura for the most part. LG Evil coming in as 2-2 on Anubis, so it is one of the few maps that they've lost. So they're 500 on it. They have 2 ties on Hanamura, so I guess they just don't want to tie in picking this, but there's not a whole lot of data either way.
I think when you look at here and what we see that LG Evil is willing to run, I think that first point could be very difficult for them because there's a lot of aerial mobility for Farah, and they weren't willing to really run things that dealt with it well. I do think we'll still see Jake come out in the 76 here. I don't think it's going to be a Genji, but either way, not necessarily LG Evil's strong point. Conversely, though, when you get to point B, it is very good for Farah, but there's more ways of dealing with Farah because she doesn't quite have as crazy aerial mobility on second. It's a little bit more zoned in, and that's where you could have a Roadhog do a little bit more work in dealing with it.
Well, I'm really excited to see. I mean, it looked like Renegades definitely came in to Kings Row with a plan on offense, and it didn't end up working out in the end, but I'm curious to see if they put that same time into planning for this map. As we go into Temple of Anubis, Renegades, they're down 1-0 in the series to the mountain that is LG Evil. Will Renegades be able to climb it and tie things up here? Well, I guess we're about to find out.
Speaking of climbing, I bet you could do some pretty off-roading with those tires on the big vehicle. That's not on our live stream right now. But when we get to spawn, that thing can mud up a mountain. I'm certain of it.
I mean, for me, I just wonder if the tires are even its main mode of transportation. I kind of feel like it has to hover its way in because otherwise it would have destroyed everything around by moving into where it's at.
Because why would you spend the kind of money that those tires would require if it weren't the main motivation? You know how much those tires actually cost with those giant construction equipments?
I would assume a lot.
A great deal. That's true. I don't know exactly.
I mean, the bigger question is that if your goal is to get to the final point, why are you even going through point A when you can just ram directly into point B? I don't think you're utilizing your heavy machinery anywhere near as well as you should be.
You should be a foreman on a construction site. That way these roads would finally get done. I don't think I've ever lived in a state where the 4th season wasn't traffic season. Regardless, though, defense-wise, it looks like they are going to be running 3 tanks and a single DPS. That is the default mode of LG Evil lately. Jake, of course, will be on that DPS with his buddy Train is going to be protecting him. Offensively, they're going to run Dive again. Sherlocky's still on the Zenyatta.
If you remember, Rogue set the blueprint for how to really shut down Mangachu, which is that Rob420 and Jake should just combine their powers and immediately attack Mangachu as soon as he comes into line of sight. Make him a high priority whenever he comes in, but he's coming in from the flank here. Perhaps a little bit off guard here is LG Evil as they're not able to get on him immediately. Juna on the Volt pretty early on, so lots of damage coming in here from Mangachu, though he falls. in the assault. We'll see if anyone can follow up his handiwork, but Train might be the glue here that keeps LG Evil in this fight.
Well, they tried to follow up his handiwork with a Winston who got there a little bit late, and now Sherlocky finds himself on the wrong end of a rifle butt that will cause Jake to lose his life as the kills come in fast and furious now for Renegades. Juvenile gets a couple after the softened up. Aiko on the Genji now getting those dash resets. This should be a take for Renegades unless we see a miracle coming out of LG Evil. It does appear that they've already conceded this point. They're going to run second because Train has played defensive Sombra before.
I mean, a few things to note here. A is that this is clearly LG Evil's worst game type. They did pick up the win last week when they played it, which was their first. But other than that, it's been losses and draws for them across the board. So they're not particularly good in Nubis, but even to our pre-match analysis, I wasn't really expecting them to do much on their point A defense anyways. Their point B defense, though, can be significantly better, especially if they start balancing their ults pretty well between EMP and everything else.
So Sombra's going to need a little bit of run-up time to be able to get up to that EMP. Of course, the packs are so important there. So far, not doing much to help her team. Going to throw down that translocator to see if they get back. However, Magachu already down. A huge source of offense already in. Train will help finish up Juvenile. That is 2 quick deaths, and that should spell the end of this push for Renegades.
And now this is going to be more of a challenge here for Mangachu to be sure. He doesn't have to worry about a Roadhog, but Sombra can actually do a good amount of damage if she's right behind you and or the top. Now he's going to worry about EMP messing up his team coordination. I think LG Evil now in a much better spot, although you take a look at the time, they have to hold for 6 minutes, which is long, to say the least.
It's an Anubis-eaten time, is because a lot of teams are able to take first very quickly. We end up here for 5 to 7 minutes. More often than not, but there are some ults coming in. Dragon Blade, Mangachu, Jur, all with it. Those both combo pretty well with Sound Bearers, keeping those DPS ultimates alive if they can find an angle for it. Juvenile's just getting some poke in here. He will likely be the one leading the charge.
Aiko, Dragon Blade up, looking to be a hero perhaps this time. Diving in, and no, the spawn door says no. This is a no Genji allowed sign. Soundbear comes in here from the defense, but hasn't done much for them here, although Mangachu ends up eating his own rocket. Explosive taste to be sure, but one that takes him out of the fight. Now late tac visor in from Jake, and that's actually going to let him clean this up rather nicely. 3 kills in from Jake, and Farrell the Renegades. They do get 1 tick though, so not entirely empty-handed.
To give up a tick, Aiko got some damage done there. He was so low at the 1 HP, and one of the things that a Sombra can help you with is if you start taking out the attacking team's healing, there's going to be no options for them to heal up otherwise, because all of those packs are going to be hacked for the most part. That's what Sombra's area control can do. Also, this very free poke she's going to get out front, but we do have one of my favorite heroes on this map. Now added in as Jake will come over onto the Mei and still on his same perch. Jake loves that perch, pays rent up there.
He is on the Mei, and then again, I'm not super thrilled with this. I think that it gives Mangachu even more room to work with. The Blizzard can be great, but for this next push in particular, it's actually going to be rather a disadvantage here for LG Evil. They don't have what they need. And Renegades, even though it's just a sound bearer, this is actually a huge heal if they come in and can do this before Tracer takes an icicle to the dome. But Renegades is taking a long time to set this up, Hex, and that could be to their detriment.
This makes me believe that their strategy against Mangachu is to ignore Mangachu and kill everyone else if they're given the chance. He is deep onto Rob in the backline, unable to finish that kill as Volt takes out Juvenile up front. Mangachu looking for more. Train does finally go down, and now Mangachu on a roll. However, taken down by Rob 420. Too many kills for the side of LG Evil.
LG Evil introducing us to the tactical spawn door, where we've been seeing that save many a member of the LG Evil squad, perhaps more so than Rob 420 has this game, and Rob 420 saved a lot of people, so that's
why not? It's right there. You can get healed up just beyond that door, can't get damage through it. Works out well.
Renegades coming in once more. Jake, though, going to take a snooze here over the top. Gets the Ana Bionade on him as well. Can't heal here.
Lives through it.
Onto it. But EMP's up for the next fight, and again, EMP, one really good way of disrupting assault attacks here, and Train not going to mince any words, uses it immediately, doesn't want to waste time, and perhaps still not going to be enough. 3 kills here from Renegades, only 1 in return, but the one was Mangachu, which of course, usually good omen, but this is where Jesus can put the team on his back, takes down Volerland, gets a double kill on the Train, and now Renegades with a dominating presence here on the point. They kill everyone. The ticks are counting up. 2 ticks here, soon to be 3, and Renegades, with 2 minutes, 52 seconds remaining, is able to grab that as Jesus shows us the new Tracer gymnastic flip, courtesy of the Pulse Bomb.
Sometimes you need a little explosive assistance there to get your feet around your head, tuck and roll. The big difference, I think, in some of these, for Renegades especially, I love the idea of Zenyatta, and I posed it before tonight that I thought we should see more Zenyatta. But Sherlocky hit some nice darts there towards the end, giving up on Nano Boost. I think it's a little more powerful than Transcendence is still. I like Zen on defense, I think, a little more than I like him on offense, but every time they've gotten a good push, it's been Sherlocky has switched off of it onto the Ana. The sleep dart's so valuable.
It brought up a bit mid-game, but I'm still not particularly sold on coming in here with the Mei. I'm just not. I don't think it was great given what they were up against, and even though Mei has historically been pretty good on Point B Anubis, you needed something to just give you more range presence there, and I don't know what LG Evil's aversion is to running good hit scan when clearly we've seen Jake have great moments on McCree, which he's going to be running here in the attack.
Yeah.
I would like to see them run something a little bit more on the defense to deal with aerial threats a little bit better.
It's perplexing, to say the least. This is generally something that we lauded them over their ability to be adaptive, to have all heroes available to play for them for most of their different players, and still have been shying away from a pure hit scan threat to deal with Mangachu. Now they're going to switch to it, and Mangachu is grounded as he takes Roadhog up instead.
And now for those who haven't seen LG Evil on Anubis, what you can look forward to here is Electric Cowboy. What is that? That is Nano Boost on the Jake as Jake goes out of his way to just carve through your Reinhardt like a Thanksgiving turkey. And it's been effective for LG Evil, so we'll see if Jake can repeat that performance here once more.
Along with that, he's going to be rolling with his buddy Train most of the time, lives inside that defense matrix, which is a pretty good shield, it turns out, to keep him alive. It's been something that's been, well, I mean, electric is the right word, both literally and figuratively, but that is a huge up right away. Super down, Rob down, push over.
Reverse, abort, whatever you want to say there. Jake getting staggered a bit towards the very end, going, guys, forgot about someone. It's like, well, yes we did.
Fan the Hammer get himself a decent charge there. So we'll try it yet again. That push stifled before it even began, thanks in part to Mangachu being able to get that very early kill. Now they have to dodge hooks here for now. Mangachu happy to just pepper away.
Mangachu in and very comfortable in this position here. We'll see if LG Evil able to finally pick up, and oh no, Juvenile a little bit far out, getting punched for it. Bull does pay the price during that, but that's worthwhile. But Jesus, able to come in, finding that early pickoff on the Jake, and that's actually going to make things pretty rough here for Hammers. Although with 3 people still up, Buddy Blaster able to recharge up mid-fight. There's still hope here. Renegades not able to finish their plate, and they very well could regret this here as respawns are coming in for LG Evil.
Mangachu got slept. Now he is up and angry about it as he's been woken. They are not able to get the tick, but they still have some nice pressure in here. I like that they continued this fight. Does seem like Train wants to back up, though. They're going for a whole regroup. Waiting for Jake to get up here so we can sit with Train, try to get some damage done. Another nice sleep dart. They have to capitalize on those. That's twice now.
Runs a Graviton, and it's a big bang. Jesus takes down 2 off that Graviton setup. 4 kills here from Renegades. And again, a lightning defense coming out that really catches LG Evil a bit off guard. And for LG Evil, they're quickly running out of time here. I mean, for them, this wouldn't be unprecedented if they lost. They're not particularly great on Assault relative to the other maps, but this has been a rough showing even by LG Evil standards for Assault.
It's just execution. They've slept Mangachu twice, and twice he's woken up and gotten the full support of his team afterwards. Sleep him, let him nap, deal with him later. It seems like that was their strategy on Pharah, but right now it's going to be Jake rolling in, trying to get some poke damage on the Ana, who's very far away. Nice flashbang over the shield, takes down Juvenile.
Gets on the Juvenile, Deadeye in from the back, going for Ico, gonna connect. Jake, 2 kills off that Deadeye, even got the Lucio as a bonus, and for a offense that was plagued with issues, it does look like it's gonna come in. Of course, he's still looking for miracles at the very end, but going to be finding a flashbang instead. Not miraculous really, Hex, just gives you tinnitus.
Anyone else hear that ringing? Regardless, Jake's hello game on point. Always spamming the hellos, whether you're watching stream or even in tournament play. Always got time for a friendly howdy. Mangachu now going to be on Sombra instead. Something we haven't necessarily seen this Renegades team run on defense. Usually he was on a Torb or even a Bastion at times, so trying things out.
Jake is no hearts here, as far as my heart goes, and that's spamming high. He was the original McCree that spammed high. Also, great creator of memes.
He is a top-tier memer, that's for sure. His Twitter is nothing but memes.
They're good fire.
They're going to rotate around. Reinhardt will be with them, so a very steady push here, just waiting for Jake to go off. They are going to roll in.
They're moving in, and Jake right now just looking for who will be the first victim. No Electric Cowboy out here yet, but you do see LG Evil take a commanding presence on the point. You know Mangachu's killed too. They've already got a tick for free. A little bit sloppy here by Renegades to give that up before even engaging, but now they commit to the point and they're starting to get punished for it. Jake has already taken down one. Earth Shatter by Juvenile, though, will connect. Knocks down 3. He's gotten 2 ticks, though. Why? This is...
Chasing kills. They gave up 2 for absolute free. The Earth Shatter wasn't needed in that situation either, as Juvenile threw it down just for good measure. On the other side of things, Super will have his ultimate up as well, but what you're going to be looking for, we can all hope for, is Electric Cowboy perhaps incoming. Jake always likes to take this perch. That's why Mangachu is heading to the left, so he can see them coming in, but Nano, Deadeye, incoming. Super also has his Earth Shatter, and Juvenile, as I mentioned, uses late in the last fight.
One thing that could definitely mess with your Electric Cowboy combo is an EMP, and Mangachu has it up here. So Electric Cowboy going to come in, EMP going to come out right away. So that's going to disable his roll, but not so much his primary fire, so it's not quite as big of a counter as you might think. Oh, just beautiful. Sherlocky never knew it hit him. Zoning Deadeye out towards the end, but does not matter. LG Evil rather quickly takes that point, and the only reason why they took it that quickly there, and the reason why Renegades didn't get a chance to stall, is that Renegades gave away 2 ticks for free. Can't do that.
For free! Something that's usually good when someone mentions you can get something for free. I guess take it. If they're going to give it to you, just take it, but no reason for them not have a single body on that point. It's not like the fight had been won or decided. Just got off of it, sent 2 people to deal with a one-man job, no one on the point, 2 ticks for free. Then that last fight, rather simple at that point.
I can't wait.
Tough times. And now as a result, LG Evil actually with a better time remaining in their bank. And this would be big for them if they're able to pick up this assault win, because I'm not going to say that it's been relatively clean here for LG Evil. Clearly, they've had difficulties, particularly in their point A defenses, but they kind of get away from one here. Then they only have to win one of the remaining 3 to solidify themselves as the number 1 team. I mean, they would still be number 1 team regardless, but taking out the number 2 team, definitely a bit of a statement.
Yeah, they're probably their weakest link by far. I think they've only lost 3, maybe 4 maps in the entire tournament. 2 of them right here on Temple of Anubis. So if you were looking to take a map off LG, this is the map you want to take them to, and it hasn't been a problem for some teams. It's just a matter of taking more than this map off of a team. Sherlocky is back on that Zenyatta, which I love in theory, has not worked out perfectly in practice, but they're going to be running full-on dive comp on attack. Defensively, a single DPS and Jake. Bunch of tanks with him.
Well, Mangachu's taking the same route here. I'd hope that LG Evil was keyed into it a little bit more this time around, where he's going to go for the knockoff off the top. Does knock off. I think that was a Lucio. And it's a good approach here from Mangachu, where, again, LG Evil finding themselves surrounded on all sides. And can't say I'm a fan of how they're dealing with this here just yet, but with that early hook on the Jer, suddenly it goes way better. Jake, long-range step on the Mangachu, and it works out. This time, it's not going to be Renegades flanking them from all sides and getting the kills they were looking for.
Very patient from both sides there. Jesus trying to work something here. Now does drop his pulse bomb to no avail. Still nothing, only 18 health. Does try to grab to Pack. That Pack is in the line of charge. Super takes him down. So far, the attack not going great for the side of Renegades here, as LG Evil fully thwarted that one. 1:45 just about left on our clock.
I'll see what route Mangachu takes this time. I don't think he's going to go around the high flank, but he very well could if he decides to. Ico, though, give me the one to watch here. Dragon Blade very close to being on the way. Again, it's been relatively quiet series here for Ico, really having to be freelance Genji at its finest, but does go into the back line. Early kill, taking its toll. Bull out of the fight. Bull, Ico, waiting for his chance here for the Dragon Blade, but really waiting a very long time and might have lost his opportunity here. As suddenly, LG Evil starting to clean up more of this fight. The attack flies from Jake took down one, and he's able to get the cleanup right after.
Just trying to figure out what he was waiting for. Perhaps the rest of his team, but they had already gotten position on the point. I think he was waiting for the cleanup to come from the Discord orb. Mangachu will get back in this fight. They did use Transcendence very late in this fight. Mangachu now up over the top, looking for more kills. They have bodies over here. He cannot give up this point for free.
No, you absolutely cannot. And LG Evil still going to be throwing into it, though. The odds that they take this back, pretty unlikely at this point. They've bled out too many. Diva out of the suit into the rocket. Not a good place to be, but they do at least make Mangachu use the barrage to clean this up here, and that's going to be the point for Renegades. They'll get an extra 30 seconds to try and take second. Not a whole lot going into it, but maybe this is where the saved Dragon Blade will be their saving grace. Aiko, will you be the man of the hour?
I'll happily eat my words. The economy coming into full effect there, trying to dislodge him from his perch as Mangachu unable to take down Jake as Jake rotates around the backside.
Where's the blade? You had sound barrier. He does take down Jake, but gets a double kill. If he doesn't need the blade, who knows? Holding on to it. There the Dragon Blade is finally coming out. Takes down one. Looking for more. Gets a double kill. Aiko. Patience perhaps paying off here in a mystifying tale. But now LG Evil on the verge of giving up a 4th point here in Temple Anubis. They're not able to do anything. They lose everyone onto the point. And even a stall here seemingly more and more unlikely as they've lost so many people so decisively. But they get D.Va and Tracer back into the point. Perhaps they have a chance, but it's going to be tough.
Well, D.Va online will buy a little bit of time. Now they're going to stagger the soldier back out. Here comes a Mei, gets boosted onto the point. They still need to start getting some kills in their part of the kill feed. Mangachu makes short work of that Mei. Tactical Visor comes across on the other side of the field. Jake gets a kill. Don't think it's going to be enough. Mangachu still running wild, hitting directs.
There's still a good amount of stall coming in here from LG Evil. They've sort of stabilized into this weird moment where they're not getting kills, but it's not enough to keep it going forward. 4 points now for Renegades. So more pressure being applied to LG Evil here where they're going to have to match this. And how crazy would it be to have 2 Temple of Anubis maps today that would go to 5-4?
I've seen everything. It would not stun me. Still just trying to think on Aiko here about the patience with the Dragon Blade. Maybe part of it is being a new player. You don't want to have one of those ambitious Dragon Blades, as we call them here. So holding on to it. Maybe the plan was to use it within Transcendence, because that seemed like when it came out the second time. So definitely something going on as far as planning goes, but I think if he wasn't under instruction to wait for something, to wait for this or that as a new player, he would have used it several times. There were plenty of moments where it would have been effective.
I'm going to say this, is that even though it worked out, it didn't feel like the right maneuver. It was a very long saving. I mean, he was able to pick up 2 dash reset kills without the blade, which is great.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, but on the same note, he also went the entire duration of Sound Barrier without pulling out the blade, which is... You're giving up an opportunity to use Blade for free where people can't do much damage to you and you just throw it away. It's not traditional play, to say the least.
It's something to keep an eye on going forward, how Aiko is going to blend with this team as he is the newer addition for the evening. It does seem like on the attack is when they like to run their McCree the most. They're going to run Jake on that McCree for the moment. Train, of course, will be with him. So not running the McCree on defense to deal with Ferez or things like that, but they do definitely have a set style they like running on this offense. They're going to go through the room. It punished them last time.
All right, and Jake going to get slapped pretty early onto this fight. Fall through isn't there immediately, but Super out of the fight, and Jake, that terrible alarm clock is Tracer in your face with 2 pulse pistols. 3 unanswered kills here by Renegades, and they immediately dispatch LG Evil again, where LG Evil not quite working the same amount of time this time, Hex, where they have to get through both points, and really if they don't do it on the next attack, I think it gets quite difficult for them.
They've been kind of predictable. They've rotated through small pack room each time. Each time they've been punished by Mangachu, who's looking for stragglers with the hook. That is hook 2.0, will not pull him up off the ledge. So far, bloodless in this fight. A charge comes in, takes out Super. Jesus goes down. Now they're trying to bring it back. Jake and Bo with a couple kills. 4v4, or 4v4.5 actually, as it's a D-Mech D.Va. They're still trading. This is actually pretty good for the offense if they can get back in here.
This is very good for LG Evil. The trade-outs that they got were excellent. Train going to fall before getting back into his mech. But now, you take a look at Renegades. Best case scenario, they regroup really far back on the point. They lose their positioning. And now, a big opportunity for LG Evil to crack this open and begin their assault on second. Jake taunting the bear there, perhaps, in a sense, where he goes in, sees 3 people in the alley. And no, it is not high noon. It is actually nap time. Nap time's at 12.
It is for many people. Jake does go down to Jesus eventually. Mangachu still holding on to this whole hog. He does find his counterpart in behind. Super was fully charged up with the boost, is able to get a couple kills. There's a random Widow on the field. This is Train trying to get something done in his desperation time. 140 left on the clock. Train has played this Widow before in different situations, most notably on Hanamura when they want to specialize and run 4 DPS. Has not played it so far on Anubis, not getting any sightlines.
One thing that may be messing with it, maybe it's just our feed, but it feels like there's quite a bit of lag going on the server right now. I'm not sure what is going on here, but it might definitely be affecting hit scan play. We'll see if it stabilizes just a bit, but think there could be something on the suicide, but either way, out of our control. Hook comes in here, Vol going to get knocked down, tries to take a breather out, and will take a breather out, getting healed up by Rob420 during all this, and takes Ico for a ride. What great healing coming in by Rob420 to keep Vol in that fight. Mangachu still trying to turn this back around, but Vol still alive, still a threat here as a result of that support play, and this is big here for LG Evil as they try and keep the hope alive. But it's under a minute left here, Hex, and even if they take this, they only get an extra 30 seconds.
It's going to be rough for him. Train and Voldu combined for a couple, and it has been so far the Roadhogs battling back and forth. Need to get this cleanup going to try to get as much time as possible for the next point. It does seem like they have cleaned up the majority of it. Ultimates available for this next and perhaps final fight on Anubis. Earthshatter for LG Evil. We'll have the Electric Cowboy combination as well, going against a Graviton, Sound Barrier, Pulse Bomb, and a Nano Boost on the target of their choosing.
Final minute remaining here for LG Evil. See what they make of it here. I don't think we're going to be seeing a super aggressive Deadeye, but Jake, if nothing else, has had good Deadeye sense, so
try to get to his perch.
Maybe he'll find a way. Deadeye will find a way, but no, it's Electric Cowboy, and he just immediately removes Juvenile from the game. Goodbye, 6 bullets, and you're done. Jake follows up the Deadeye, takes down Zarya. 2 kills here for LG Evil, make it 3. And will they finish this with time left? Will they have time left going into the next attack? Could very well be a thing here, Hex.
Comes a supercharging Reinhardt trying to get in there. He gets countercharged, still in the corner, still buying time though, as they do buy time for the Diva to get out there and get in Jake's face, trying to shut him down. Here comes the Mangachu Bastion on defense, trying to bring this back.
Why not? Trying to pull it out at the very moment, and immediately removes Train from his mech. The Bastion demeching service, and they get off the point. That is going to be it. LG Evil not able to slay their Assault Demons here. Renegades evening up the series 1-1.
Why don't teams like the Point or Carts, CP?
Well,
why do they hate them?
I don't know. Why do bad things happen in the world?
I don't understand the amount of times teams have gotten off of objectives, and this tournament has been astounding.
Very much has, and Roadhog, of course, big factor here in this game, and get to see a little bit here from Mangachu, although this is already looking like the play of the game is slightly trolling us.
Well, Mangachu had a pretty nice hog life. Lived that hog life proudly. Got a lot of kills done, especially on first point defense.
I was going to say, actually, how do you feel about that hog changeup? I mean, I feel like that might be one of the best decisions Mangachu has made in recent games. Is, you know, he's playing pretty well on the Pharah, but not something you want to see on defense there.
I mean, sometimes
for Anubis.
Sometimes you need pulled pork in your life. What more can I say?
Isn't it pulling pork?
It's pulling pork. Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
And rather than pulled pork, which is a little bit too direct. But either way, you take a look at the switch up there. I mean, Roadhog is very good right now in this patch. There's no denying it. Yes, Hook went up to 8 seconds, but the scrap gun, 20% more effective, and he was able to get pickoffs in most fights, usually early on. And LG Evil, for a team that's very good at initiating on almost every map, they don't quite have it together on Assault.
It doesn't surprise me at all. I think I was running camera for one tournament, and Mangachu was playing Roadhog, and I just left it on him. It was absolutely the easiest decision I ever made. I watched him completely control a game as Roadhog. I think it does come into some of the stubbornness that I talk about him too, because I know he doesn't love playing Roadhog the way he loves playing Pharah, but obviously can be just as effective. So no surprise. I think his Roadhog is probably his second best hero below Pharah.
Well, and it seems like they were using it. They were almost playing a first strike defense there on first point, where, you know, they would wait for them to come into maybe the small room there, or they weren't even letting them get to the stairs on first. They were trying to get at them before they could make decisions, and it actually worked out pretty well on defense. They were really only fell once LG Evil was able to push them past that to the point, give a little bit more space for Jake on McCree, and then of course we saw how second went down, but oh my gosh, Jake on McCree on second. He has got those fan the hammers down on Reinhardt, enemy number one.
It's one of those things where it's well executed. I mean, it's a very simple setup where you flashbang over the top. Anyone that's around still throws in their fire into the Reinhardt, and then you fan the hammer, and if he's still not down, you fan the hammer again. And then hopefully at that point, your Reinhardt problem has been dealt with. So it is an effective way of isolating out Reinhardt. The only thing that strikes me as interesting is that I think it's a pretty good setup. I'd kind of like to see teams run that a little bit more on other maps. I mean, if you go way back, if you think about it, it's sort of unnerfing Fan the Hammer. There was a point where Fan used to do considerable damage, heavy damage. It was the Tank Slayer back to where people said, why would I run a Reaper when I can just hit right-click on McCree? Yep. And when you use Nano Boost, you sort of bring back some of that old school power. And clearly, as we saw there, enough to send Juvenile to an early grave.
The flashbang over the shield is such a high-risk prospect, though, because if you miss it, you're dead as McCree. You're way too far in, and like why they can run it is because they are running full support behind that McCree, too. So even if he gets hooked, sometimes you have Diva there for him. He gets bubbles on the rare occasion they're running Azaria, but it is... There are pro players who miss that flashbang consistently. Jake is one who hits them consistently, so you go with that gambit. But getting that flashbang over the top, it seems like a simple thing. There are pros who don't hit it under the pressure that Jake's under.
No, he had some nuts flashbang. Yeah, he had one where it almost looked like he just tossed it to the side and killed a tracer with it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I saw
what is even going on here? But before we move into our next map, I only wanted to bring up one question for you. Because in both of the maps so far, we've seen some questionable ult usage coming out of Renegades, but they have been bringing something that we haven't seen against this LG Evil squad, and it almost seems like to me that they're trying to elevate their game to the level that maybe they're starting to make some mistakes. So I liken it to golf, like if you've ever played golf before. Where, man, if you want to hit that ball really hard, if you want to get some power behind it, you might be able to. And if it goes straight, that's going to be good. But the more power you try to put into it, the less control you have. And while they lost control a few times, maybe they're trying to hit them a little harder. They did find victory here. How important was it, though, for them to find victory on this map?
Well, it was going to be the map that they had to take. Yeah. I think if any team has a roadmap on how to beat LG Evil, it starts on, we're probably going to lose map 1. But don't worry about it, because when we go to Assault, we actually have a chance. And Assault on Anubis has been one of the very few maps that they've been beatable on.
The cruel joke about that, though, is that Hammers is very good on map 1, but they're also incredible on Control. So it's one of those things where, all right, so you get beaten by map 1, fine. You begin the comeback on Assault. Uh-oh. You begin the comeback on Assault. Now you have to deal with them on Control. What do you do?
Well, we're going to see, because Nepal is the next map. And this one was selected by LG Evil. One of the few times that they have selected a non-first map, as the losing team of the previous map selects it. Why do you think they're bringing us to Nepal instead of Ilios?
Well, this is going to be the unstoppable force versus the immovable object, because as good as LG Evil is on Control, Renegades is just as good. They are 7-1 on Control so far in this tournament. The only loss coming on Nepal.
There it is. Well, and we talk about Farah. I mean, how does Farah work on Nepal? Because as it turns out, the Renegades has someone that likes to play that Farah. Is that maybe a factor?
I think he would play Pharaoh regardless of the control map we're going to for the most part. It's very good on Oasis as well. So I think definitely the Pharaoh comes into consideration, having LG Evil showing that we're not necessarily going to run a counter to it.
Unless I'm going crazy, I'm actually thinking back to this. I think we saw this exact matchup on this very map back in the Overwatch Monthly Melee, and this was the time where Mangachu went to the skies versus then Hammers, and they had no response to it.
Yeah.
So really, we shouldn't be surprised by them having no response even still. Shades of old complexity.
It's just they have the response to it. They're just refusing to run it, which is the confusing part to me. Perhaps they have a better answer to it. I think their strategy is, and I've said this about a lot of top priorities for other teams, you either make them priority 1 or priority 6, and it seems like Mangachu is floating comfortably around priority 6 for them. They would rather fight everywhere else and then know that Mangachu can't do it without the rest of his team. So that seems to be the strategy. If Mangachu proves us wrong, then Jake has to switch onto something.
I think the thing that just makes me a little tilted when I look at this is the idea that Rogue gave you a blueprint. It was very simple. You ran McCree and Ana. Jake is a very good McCree. Rob is a very good Ana. You can punish Mangachu severely for doing what he's doing here, and it's just...
Well, instead, they're just going to give him the Genji very early as a sacrifice to the Mangachu gods. That is a very early kill to open this up and probably halts any sort of push from the side of LG Evil. And that's very likely going to be Renegades with the first point. Mangachu takes down another flanker very early. Train falls.
That's one immediately. Now there's really no one to deal with them. 2 quick kills here from Renegades. And for LG Evil, this is a little bit rough. Jesus trying to move around and get a bit of cleanup. Will be able to do just that. So nothing going the way of LG Evil here. Just tons of cleanup and tons of damage coming in from Mangachu, who hasn't had to worry about anything.
Oh, I know. He's just going to chuckle and, you know, spray as sorry as Jesus as they combine to mock the efforts of LG Evil. And why not? They have looked confused and lost this stage for sure. Getting blown up, both flankers in, haven't even had a decent fight yet.
My ultimate is
No,
charged.
not in the least. And so this goes into the next fight here, but it's going to be somewhat of an ult disadvantage if it goes any length of time. And Train just loses that Tracer v Tracer versus Genji fight, I suppose, if you want to add in all the parties. But it was just sloppy. 3 unanswered kills here by Renegades. And LG Evil looking positively mortal right now.
At the best, you're going to be 1v1, probably versus some support you don't see. You know you're all alone if you're Train. I don't understand engaging that fight right there. The best you were going to get was poke, and the worst was going to die away from your team, as they've done several times now. Jake and Train have not been playing well on their DPS, have not been able to find a crack in this Renegades defense.
Well, Jake does have Dragon Blade up in this fight and certainly going to have to use it early on, but he's getting poked down heavily. He can't use it because he would just die immediately as Mangachu over the top drops the barrage onto the doorway, picking up 2. This has been so incredibly sloppy here by LG Evil. And actually thinking back to that monthly melee, I do wonder why Nepal is a choice here, because it didn't work out well for him last time.
It did not. I mean, maybe they're looking too far into the numbers saying, hey, Renegades is undefeated on every other control map, but yeah, just your personal experience should have reminded them of this. They will be trying to get in, but that is a backline. Mangachu gets around 420, sleeps for it. Jake finally getting some purchase here with his Dragon Blade, takes down 2. Looking for a little more, they will finally. Nope, Resurrection comes in, halts those plans.
Resurrection comes in. Now we'll see, at the very least, if LG Evil can clean this up and get some ult bank as a result. We do have a Lake Graviton coming in, so it's almost negative ult setup here, if nothing else. But does result in Train picking up 2 kills. Jake, meanwhile, finally slaying Lucio. Jair's rollerblading skills, buying him some degree of time. And LG Evil on the board here, but very rough start to open things up.
On the board, perhaps the DPS are warmed up as we've seen Jake and Train combine for a couple kills. It's a lot easier to defend when you have control than it is to attack into control, so perhaps benefit of the doubt going there, but looked very rough. Still no pure answer to Mangachu, putting a lot of pressure onto Rob, and also when he jumps in, you have to think Train's going to be trying to get in position. It just takes a lot of effort to kill a Pharah in this spot.
Dragon Blade is going to be coming out here from Aiko. This time gets his target immediately onto Ana. 3 kills here from Renegades. From dead to deader is LG Evil here. Not a whole lot of hope that they pull this back. Jake certainly going to try, but with the Voss going to fall there, this is going to be a recap here for Renegades. And now 90% LG Evil perhaps going to go for a last gasp attempt here, but even getting people back on the point is going to be very difficult.
Not ideal. There's the Earth Shatter, hits absolutely nothing as Juvenile does take down Super. All over but the Crying as Jesus takes out his counterpart. This was not even as close as the score indicates, unless this Dragon Blade can bring it back. Jake, ambitious as he is.
That Dragon Blade was absolutely not bringing anything back. So
that felt not even close to 45%. LG won a single fight there, and mostly what's... I mean, I don't want to harp on it too much, but you can't let Mangachu do what he wants, right?
No, you can't. And again, there is a competitive blueprint out there, videotape that you can use to go, here's how you deal with this. Now, I understand that not every team is alike, not every team feels comfortable wearing the same options, but the upside of Jake being on the Genji right now is not the upside of Mangachu being on the Pharah. True. It's just not.
Yep. Hard to disagree with you there. Jake is going to fight Pharah with Pharah, going to take to the skies. Rob was on the Mercy, give him that full support, but perhaps he wants to hit the Monk to a pretty decent area for Zenyatta on this stage. He can dodge a lot of fire and still remain in sight lines where he needs to, so it's going to be an orb up top. Train has gone off to Soldier 76, so at least it's not insanity. They're not going to try the same thing and expect different results.
No, now they're going to have Jake go in and try and out-Pharah Mangachu, which is very possible. I mean, Jake is a great Pharah, but would seem a little bit more unlikely given the relative experiences on the character overall. Still, though, first fight's underway here, 5v5. Both teams trying out a little bit early. Poke as Jake able to immediately remove Mangachu from the fight. A rocket removing him from the equation. And suddenly, better fight here from LG Evil, though certainly not won by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, we see one of the reasons why people don't run Zenyatta. He was hunted down and deleted by the Tracer very early, was Rob420 on there. They're getting 3/4 of a tick, though, regardless of how this fight went. Renegades will take first point. Perhaps not for long, though, as a couple kills come in late for LG Evil. They try to get on that Mercy. They do. That should be enough. Nice midair onto Ico.
This is so much better coming out from LG Evil because now you have the Pharah v Pharah threat, and you also have the Soldier. Now, you're running the Zen here, which is an interesting take, where I think the Orb is going to be going on Jake a lot of the time, which is less healing per second than what you're getting from Mercy, but you're going to have the Discord Orb there that makes the Pharah far more vulnerable to train. I like the switch up here so far.
The Discord will be permanently on Mangachu until someone presents themselves as a more immediate threat, perhaps a Tracer onto him. Route 420 goes down very early. Juvenile dive the backline with that Diva. They do take down Ico. Here comes a barrage, takes down 2 from Jake. Resurrection comes in, though.
Gonna force out the Rose immediately, and Train says, I have the tac visor ready for the situation, or does he? Ends up dying to Mangachu anyways, as here comes Ico. Late Dragon Blade to the fight. Gonna be more of a cleanup Dragon Blade, or perhaps a Dragon Blade that tests if it can slice the wind, as it only picks up 1 towards the very end, and it certainly wasn't needed for that.
Well, there was a sound barrier, I believe, somewhere in there, a little more excusable for that Dragon Blade, as they still have the numbers presence on the point. It continues to tick up for Renegades. This fight very long and drawn out as Jake comes back in. Here's an angry monkey trying to knock people off the edge, but a remeked Diva is going to stop that. This has been as brawly as a Nepal stage you'll ever see.
It's certainly back and forth, but one thing to keep in mind here is that Renegades does have the edge. They got control back, and now it's been this long fight, which means that as long as LG Evil doesn't fully win it, they're not going to get progress despite how even it might otherwise be.
Absolutely. As long as the fight goes on and they have control, they're going to be fine with it. You don't necessarily want to take that fight against a aware Zenyatta. Jesus learns that lesson the hard way as Rob takes him down. This is a lot of kills for LG Evil. They should be able to find the cleanup and bring this point back. Zenyatta's very easy to kill if he doesn't see you coming, but he saw you. He saw you, Jesus, and Rob punished him for it.
Got punished immediately, and LG Evil, they are going to be retaking this point, but so much progress done there by Renegades in a fight that was otherwise even. That's the power of having control here on a control map. And now for Renegades, arguably 1 fight away here, Hex. So we'll see what they do here, but certainly plenty of time to store up some ultimates and go in for 1 really good attempt.
Well, we'll see how practiced Juvenile is on his Diva. He's going to have self-destruct up here. Probably launch that in before the fight starts. You don't really want to be doing it during the fight as Diva, the option of losing your mech at that point in time. But this is some pressure over the top. That is Sherlocky putting a lot of return pressure onto Jake's Pharah.
Wow, LG Evil rushing back in. It's going to be Mangachu dying immediately. He's now in a Winston of all things, so they got him off the Pharah. The Zenyatta was the key to making that switch off. And Jake still gets to dominate the skies. 2 kills off that barrage. This is a very good adjustment here from Hammer so far, or LG Evil, I should say. Old habits.
Old habits do die hard, but this is now LG Evil, the artist formerly known as Hammers, taking the firm lead in it. Last fight for them incoming. Very likely if they win this fight, they will win the stage and equalize the map.
Well, what a twist coming out here. Now it's Mangachu on anti-Pharah duty. I mean, on one level, you think he knows how to neutralize the Pharah. On the other level, this certainly was not Renegades wanted moving in. Here comes Attack Visor out and Train. Going the fall immediately. Not getting too much out of this. Mangachu in the back. Almost no HP. Just gets punched off the ledge by Super. So relatively even here. Ico picks up 1 with the Dragon Blade. Has to put it away. Still, though, this is not necessarily great for LG Evil. If they get pushed off this point, they have to come back very quickly if they want to retake.
Well, they will get pushed off this point, large part because Rob is down and Ana had taken out Jake from the sky. Sherlocky putting in work to take down that Ana. 99% will be the marker that LG Evil leaves it at. A little bit of a late stagger here onto the Lucio and Winston. So by the time this next one commences, when all the dust has settled, we will have a winner of this stage.
83% to 99%. Last attempt here for LG Evil, and they're going to have to do it through the sound barrier of Renegades. We'll see if they can do it here. Of course, Renegades already up 1 round to 0. This fight, though, underway. Vol gets a graviton just as the fight begins, drops it. That's going to be enough to immediately remove Juvenile from the fight, but so is Avast. 5v5. LG Evil throwing everything they have here onto that point, and it is very even right now, but perhaps a little bit more even favor Renegades. Electric Cowboy in action from the flank, removes Jake from the fight, and the Pharah control working out. Still, I'm gonna deal with Winston and Zarya, and get the Zarya here. It's actually looking pretty good. Down goes Super, and Vol could be next to fall.
clutching it out on this McCree as he has to roll into double tanks. 4 HP, finally getting some heals up. They got to be careful. They give the cap away.
Cap is taken here by LG Evil, and down goes Jer. I don't know, he got a little bit aggressive there. I don't think he needed to do that to stall it. It's possible that he did, but he pays the price no matter what. 2 kills here from LG Evil, and suddenly Renegades, despite some nice pickups by Mangachu, on the verge of falling here on the Shrine. That is going to be the turnaround from the side of LG Evil. You're now tied up 1-1.
I think so much of that was dependent on the Zenyatta play. You saw the focus being so driven on getting back to Rob in the back lines that allowed some space for his own DPS to get going. And Rob, even though he got jumped on a couple times by a Tracer, by Jesus' Tracer in specific, stuck on the Zenyatta, and then finally was sitting in the right sight lines, able to defend himself and discording those targets, making the cleanup that much easier on his team. I'd be surprised if he doesn't run it. But this is Sanctum, ZP. You want to know how I can tell?
Well, it's because Mangachu is on Junkrat X. That is exactly how you can tell.
That is right. Is one of the only people in the tournament to run Junkrat. This is the only stage you really see Junkrat cracking the shields on the stairs. Let's go, Rubbish Raccoon.
Now, if LG Evil has done their homework, they should expect this, and they should not fight stairs. There's actually way too much poking power from here. You want to attack this from the side. That is the effective way of dealing with this, and that appears what they're doing. They're not fighting the stairs versus Junkrat. But as a result, Renegade's getting a pretty good jump on the LG Evil early on here, and they strike pay dirt super, not able to get away. The rotation just a little bit slow, and oh no, backed into a corner, and here come the Junkrat bombs. This could not be getting any worse here for LG Evil. They try and escape. Oh no, not like this. Yikes. Final little bouncing ball there towards the end. Yeah, the rotation of let's go into the even tighter area against the Junkrat, probably not top 10 plays in the league.
No, not at all. And regardless of the hero he's on, Mangachu is the person you have to shut down first, because we talked about how you can't leave a 76 or a Pharah unattended. You really can't leave a Junkrat to just spit out 6 nades every second whenever he feels like it.
And the Tire takes down 2. That cannot be happening. I understand you don't see Tire a whole lot in comp, but to take down 2 off that just wins a fight outright.
We don't see Tire a whole lot in comp because it's a very weak ultimate. It dies to anything. If you blink at it wrong, it blows up and dies. And so it's really surprising they were unable to kill it before it got in there. Mangachu still making this Junkrat work, getting all the support he needs. And remember, kids, it's not spam, it's tactical area denial.
Well, there is tactical area diving in right now by LG Evil. They take down 2 immediately, catching Renegades off guard. Junkrat or no Junkrat. It's going to be 2 kills here from Jake. And that should be the end of Junkrat here for this map. Unlikely that Mangachu will stay on it when trying to retake the point. Of course, I say that. Still have a little bit delay coming out here by Jesus, looking for a bit more knockoff into the pit, but would it be difficult to hold it on? And Mangachu is now off the Junkrat. 76 now represented.
Rest in pieces, Junkrat. I shall miss thee until the next Sanctum, my friend, and we will meet again. Next Sanctum for Renegades, anyway. So a couple chances tomorrow, as they have 2 matches tomorrow, for us to see more Junkrat. They will be holding Doorway. Most teams have been holding Doorway lately, trying to get free ultimates. Graviton should be incoming. Graviton does come in.
Well, Graviton's going to come in. He's going to pick up 4 takers immediately. His trade is there with the fall through. Ends up taking down 2 very quickly off of that setup. Making it 3 before it's all said and done. So still a while to go here for LG Evil. Only about to hit 30%. It took a while to recap things here, so Renegades still have plenty of time to actually find a way to bring this back.
Yeah, Renegades still in a rather good position here. They're going to have a Graviton of their own to not burn it on the way out the door, so that will probably be their entrance strategy here, knowing that they're not going against a Graviton. They rotate low, and wow, they're going to get sent off the cliff.
They want to explore the other stages in Ball-Axe. That's just all there is to it. As Train almost certainly has picked up play of the game with that in a 3K whole hog that involved environmental depths.
They wanted to relive the glory days and go back to first stage. Found the quickest ticket there was riding a whole hog all the way down to Village.
It is the best ride here. It's how Nepal is going to make all sorts of money in the future.
Yeah, Nepal being a theme park, I see no issues with that at all. Jake is going to try to get in here, get some poked on, probably dash through his incoming. About to have Dragon Blade up, although Super goes down early. Losing a Reinhardt early, never great.
They've lost Super here, and here comes Dragon Blade from Jake to the back. Slicing, so much value, picks up 3! Oh, the blade tastes well tonight, but ends up falling in the very end, so we'll see if it's enough. Train going to end up going down as well. So despite the contribution there from Jake, it's not clean, but oh, there's the Earth Shatter from Super. Just walk up Earth Shatter, slam, goodbye. Perhaps good night. Have a little bit of life here from Aiko. Is he gonna get away? Oh no, Super not able to finish his plate, but Jake is there, able to get the last little kill there. Remaining members of LG Evil coming in, and they might be turning around this Nepal yet.
Well, they have to be careful to not give up the point, as it is very close to being flipped back over, and we've seen teams not be the most aware of where they are situationally, but it does seem like they clean it up. Got to give it up to Super there. He came in, solo ulted a point, able to knock down 2, walk just far enough to get Sherlocky on the ground before he flipped around, got the charge, stayed alive, allowed his team to get back there, but that solo ult ended up being huge for them.
It was very significant indeed, and now LG Evil, despite a rough start in trying to figure out the Mangachu equation, is now up 2-1 here on Nepal. They have a little bit of breathing room. And
it sounds like a terrible movie I would watch, the Mangachu equation. About like a mathematician who gets shunned by his country or something. I'm just spitballing here.
But the equation he has will solve energy problems forever.
Oh, perfect.
Coming this summer.
That's pitch it.
Near you.
Can I get Kevin Bacon involved?
Yes.
All right.
There's no way that you can't get Kevin Bacon.
He's actually already signed on just hearing us from this cast.
Well, Gary Oldman's probably knows it.
They will take this high ground here. It will be looking like a Braveheart setup as they try to get him, but bullied out by the barrage of rockets over top. Train, though, takes down Juvenile.
Train able to get down Juvenile now. Jake looking to apply pressure to the Mangachu here once more. Now he's not going to have the Zen Orb that's helping him here. McCree's still a threat, but Mangachu able to take down that potential counter to him coming in from the flank, and can't happen there. There's just too many people have gone down, and Mangachu feasting on the cleanup, picks up 3 before the carnage is all said and done.
Once you rotate into that high ground there, you have to decide if you're going or you're pulling back. A little bit tentative there. Once they knew the area, Jesus came in from the other side, was able to take down Rob 420. Such a pivotal
We warned you about this word.
We made a bet that I wasn't going to say that word. All right, I'm done. You won the bet. Never again. It's out of my vocabulary. He made a crucial mistake.
Well, in a pivotal moment here. Jesus comes in, drops a pulse bomb, takes down 2.
Oh, I psyched myself up for it. It's tragic.
I'm just worried it's contagious. I'm not going to be able to say the word anymore.
I don't even know what word you're talking about.
Pivotal.
It's been deleted from my vocabulary.
You pivot, and then you add Al. Al's a great person, especially when you throw him at the end of pivots. That's how you get pivotal. It's not even close.
I feel like this is a first grade vocabulary class, and I'm failing. Regardless, Mangachu over the top, damage boosted. There's been no answer for him despite Jake being on the McCree. He's going to come in a little over the top. We've seen Mangachu get himself out of position on this map before, and it's going to be that case again. No need to give that capture, but they do.
Well, they do get up, and this has been a running problem here for Renegades, and Jake now able to deal with Aiko, gets a second kill, and powered up by Zenyatta, McCree is a scary thing indeed. Mangachu looking to undo some of the bleeding here. But might be too low, too late. This is where McCree is now established. Now you're going to have to move in, and Jake's going to have better position for dealing things. There's Sherlocky just taken out of the sky. No more healing beam here onto Mangachu. Although, does get instant revenge for his long-lost partner.
Well, I like that they've gone double hit scan here. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Mangachu, which is sorely needed. Jake was able to take the aggressive stance he did to hunt down the Mercy, knowing that if he dies, the rest of his team will still be in position to deal with Mangachu at some point. It took him a while to get to this, but this is a perfect anti-Pharah setup. You got a McCree, 76, most importantly, perhaps, Zenyatta for that Discord.
You can't ask for more pressure on the Mangachu, and it's about time that it's there. Train a little bit too over aggro. The Discord orb was on him, but you take rockets to the grill like that, it's not going to end in your favor. As Mangachu right now getting casual cleanup on the remaining members here of the LG Evil squad. Nice and easy, but pretty back and forth here between both sides. And don't forget, LG Evil playing a little bit with the house money here. They can lose this round and come back in. And to that note, they only have to win 2 more fights regardless, so...
Mangachu learning he's going to have to be careful against this team composition. Can't get the free peek that he wants over the top without at least thinking twice about it. Looks like they want to run triple DPS with Zenyatta up over top. The rest of their squad below. Here comes a Deadeye. Does get Aiko in the background.
Unacceptable for Aiko to get caught like that. That cannot happen. But Jake taking full advantage. Takes down 2 with the Deadeye thrown in there. 4 kills here by LG Evil, and remainder is going to get mopped right up. So for Renegades, what could be their final fight coming up here in just a moment, because by the time they get in, it's going to be about 80%, and unless they get wiped real quick, that will be it.
They're going to be pushing into a team with two very important ultimates up, Graviton, Surge, and Earthshatter at the ready. Both of these tanks probably want to stagger these unless you're really in trouble in a fight, using one for one, one for the next. If there is a next one, this has been a slow initiation, so 85% on the percent ticker.
Well, the Winston jumping in is going to be giving Mangachu room to come in from the opposite flank. Not getting as much as he wants here, though. Definitely having to respect the hit scan, but does come in off the flank. Goes for the barrage, is immediately taken down by Train. Here's the res coming in, but here's Attack Visor, meant to deal with heroes that have been just resurrected, but not really line of sight of a whole lot of them as Renegades perhaps just cracked through here. They're getting back onto the point.
Now, very nice positioning by the Winston there to deny a lot of the angles that that tactical visor wanted to take. A nice boop at the end is going to mean that Train cannot escape. Last fight incoming. LG Evil did save one ultimate. That is Super's Earthshatter. It's going to be absolutely critical in this next fight.
When they were Hammers Esports, he won the Razor Hammer, although is there even going to be a next fight? This is where Jake has to potentially sacrifice his body. He gets on the point. He causes overtime. Super, where is your hammer at?
Dead.
If you don't drop it soon,
it's in the grave.
He's gone. Farewell. Well, we'll see if the rest of them can still make it through, but it's looking heavily unlikely as Jesus, a pretty good garbage man himself, at removing the last little bit.
Well, it looks like we will be tying it up on Nepal. Jesus with his traditional self-sacrifice there at the end.
Pulse Bomb test 217. Today, I tried Pulse Bomb again in Nepal. It still blew me up.
Results the same. Results consistent with expectations.
One day. Freedom.
All these afterlives, you know, just too much. Sometimes you just don't want to exist. She's trying.
Well, speaking of freedom here, we are going into the Sanctum, and Hex, you might have misled our viewers here at home, may have misled me. You said that we'd be seeing more Junkrat the next time we're on Sanctum, and instead I'm seeing Junkrat's cohort in crime, Roadhog.
Well, that's what happens to me when I let my dreams be dreams. Reality comes smashing down, and Mangachu runs Roadhog instead. Thanks, buddy. Regardless, both teams running that Roadhog. Compositions very similar. Jake will be on Genji, whereas Jesus will be on Tracer. That's it. That's the difference.
Both teams right now trading off here in the habitual stair fight here. And again, it's going to be Renegades winning this early stair fight. No Junkrat required. Although, as I say that, they do fight back. Both Reinhardt's out playing. Now, any team's game is Jake. Go step back. Trying to get deep in on the Jer, but kind of gets slipped through. And this is a lot of time he's spending not actually being part of the fight. Time that Mangachu is using the Devour Bull back in the back line. This could be getting bad and worse here for LG Evil. It's getting very little done, but Sherlocky going down, suddenly an option.
Got something. There's a nice pull that's going to drop that pork into the pit as Mangachu goes down. Jared does get a nice boop onto Super, but it has been Jake who's gotten the kills at the right times when he's needed to. Going to chase down this Zarya as well. Got to be a little careful. Not too careful, though, as Aiko goes down. They threw some bodies on there late to stall it up, but this is LG Evil cleaning up that fight in no small part because of Jake's Cyber Ninja.
Well, that is some cyber agility he has going for him, though he is not agility. He is still quite an agile ninja. And going to the next fight, this is where LG Evil going to be holding things up pretty far up here, not really giving Renegades a free entry in. So it's not going to stop Tracer from trying. Here comes a whole hog, and this is going to crack through the shield in just a moment. Pinned against the wall. Also, Train getting whole hog into the pit. So
it's not consistent though. He shot it at the ground. It should have propelled him up like a rocket.
Well, that's certainly not happening as 3 kills come out here from Renegades. The boop off from Mangachu doing its work as Aiko. Don't get an angrier Zarya than that. Charged up with 100% energy. Gonna be not only finishing out the fight, but building up a Graviton for the next fight.
Well, this is very close. We are 1-1 in the series, 2-2 on the map. If Renegades can win this, they will be one of the first teams to take a lead over LG Evil in this entire tournament. Super will take down Juvenile, and the trade still unable to get in here, and they have to be very careful of this Graviton. It's going to come in behind him, grabs 3.
Well, they don't look at the Zarya, and they get grabbed as a result. They're going to Sound Bear to try and live through it.
Counter grab.
The counter grab is in. Here comes Super. Swings the hammer off the nano boost. Avast actually picking up 3 of those kills. Just a little bit of Lucio support to that Reinhardt. And now, suddenly, LG Evil going to be retaking control of the point. off of what was honestly a very nice counter grab. Always risky to do the sound barrier counter, but it did work out in this case.
They had to use just about everything, but it did work. Lucio dropping beats and taking names with the 3K there. Always good to see him show up in the kill feed when he gets some of the glory. 90% on this Dragon Blade for Jake. Both teams at 55% on the meter. That's a nice sleep on his super, and he dies in his slumber.
Well, he dies, and that opens up Juvenile to drop the hammer and knock down 3. Jake, though, gonna try and be the equalizer. Going to the back, 2 slices. Down goes on. A dash reset, moves in, has to put away the blade. That's gonna be it, but... And he just says, enough. I've had enough. I'm going to explore the hidden depths and find the hidden gold of Nepal.
Thank you, Omek, for resetting the map for us. As the Silver Monkeys try to push out here, 70% for Renegades, 65 for LG Evil. This could not be closer stage-wise, map-wise, series-wise. It's getting down to it, though. Aiko getting bullied off the cliffs. A very aggressive charge on a Juvenile. We'll see if he gets punished in it for it or not. Mangachu goes down, though, and that is 2 nice kills for LG Evil to start this out.
Jake getting the Mangachu there towards the end, and here comes Train. Not much he has to worry about, although he does get hit by a Bionade. Goes a little too far in. Damage overall going to deal with him, but while they're focusing on him, they're not looking at Jake. Jake from the back effectively takes down 2, and this is going to be re-grabbed here by LG Evil. Next fight here, almost certainly going to decide the fate of this map. It all comes down to this. What's been a very close to Nepal, about to reach its final conclusion.
I would expect Train to be using his whole hog here. This has been the corner of whole hogs the entire set, the entire tournament for the most part. This is where you see whole hogs more than anything else.
Jesus holding the plus bomb. He's next. No, Aiko has a graviton. This could be huge. Train not going to give him the opportunity. Opens up with the whole hog here, looking for at least 1 kill. Juggling back, finds chair. And now do or die here for Aiko. He's going to go for the graviton. Uneven number situation. The fall through, not necessarily those. Jake is in the back line. The Dragon Blade takes down 1, but Aiko and Mangachu towards the very end are going to get some fall through. It's not with the graviton, but it very well could be enough. 99 to 97% right now. Both teams fighting for their lives, and Train's still in it.
Aiko's still alive, though, in the corner, giving his team all sorts of support. Mangachu takes out his counterpart in Train with a whole hog. 98%. Is they're going to be able to get a charge onto the point?
Oh, no,
knocked off, but the Tracer's on the point still.
Super's gone, and now Tracer trying to get a little bit of final delay. Is it going to be enough? Very likely not, as the final few kills going the way here of Renegades. Super would have been a huge benefit there in that fight, but with him falling, so do LG Evil's hopes of taking the map, and that's huge. LG Evil has been near unstoppable in control, and now they're the ones that have to win 2 in a row.
I partially expected it based on Renegade's great record on control, that it was going to be at the very least be close, and it was close. Does not get much closer. There it is, Train knocking people off the cliff. Whole hog is a pretty good ultimate.
Well, it's whole hog, it's environmental kills, it's people exploring the hidden depths of Nepal. Not where you really want to be on that map.
There were a lot of people looking for gold down there, actually, this time. I kept writing down, boop of the week, boop of the week. There's all these potentials there. A couple of them were intentional, but a lot of them were forced. But that's not really the story of this match. This is, I mean, I was just on the edge of my seat the entire time. And this was something that I've been building up in my head a lot, even over the last couple of weeks, because I knew that these 2 teams were going to face off till week number 4. And I guess, is there any question in anyone's mind as to whether or not Renegades deserve to be in that second slot?
No, I think LG Evil started slower than I expected them. I think their adaptation wasn't as quick as I thought it would be. But you took 2 maps off a team that only dropped, I think, 3 or 4 maps in the entire tournament. Then, yeah, Renegades, you have to start putting in that conversation. Renegades, I've never believed that they were incapable of hanging with LG Evil, but I wanted to see it a little more. I'm still a little worried about their consistency level, how it goes forward.
I do wonder how this map turns out if LG Evil goes with the McCree Zenyatta 76 combo earlier, instead of giving away a few rounds for free to the Pharah. I think that if they'd swapped it up earlier, it probably would have went in their favor. I don't know why they had to run their heads into it repeatedly to get the idea, but they did adapt. It's just they didn't have enough margin for error at the very end in what was a very, very close final round.
Yeah, no, they didn't swap. They swapped to the Pharah v Pharah, and that actually went pretty well for them on Shrine. But then it wasn't until the 3rd map that they actually even switched it up at all. And yeah, that's my question is, if you react faster, what's the difference in this one? Well, the only other thing I wanted to talk about was the McCree, when they did play McCree versus Pharah, who got the best of that? And I mean, I guess is that what we expected?
I mean, certainly Mangachu was under more pressure and fought it off reasonably well, but I think the proof was in the pudding the first time it came out where he said enough and had to come out on McCree. So clearly, if you can make him swap off his bread and butter, what he really likes running, you've done something right. There's no other way around it. It's just, I wish they'd done that a little bit earlier in the map because they, I think, just lost too much, and they probably could have taken an earlier round, but they left themselves no margin for error, and it came down to the wire, and they weren't able to finish it out.
Well, that's the first part of it, is making him swap. And then the second part is, do you have an answer to what he swaps to? Because if he swaps to Roadhog, he can also still cause all sorts of havoc. His 1 or 2 lives on McCree were really good lives on McCree, Razor's Edge lives, but able to get a lot of kills there too. So Mangachu's not really a one trick. His Pharah is amazing, so that's why you have to start with getting him off of Pharah, but he can still run other things. I think they did succeed in the pressure, but this is a team that can run everything, run every hero. I don't know why they don't run double hit scan before that. It's not like even if he switches, that double hit scan's bad against a lot of things that you're seeing. So it was a little confusing to see the late adaptation from LG Evil.
I do think part of the logic there is the idea that Pharah isn't necessarily great at fighting Genji straight up either. Like, neither hero really likes fighting the other. It's sort of, it wastes a lot of time, and I think maybe they were just thinking, well, you can be running Mangachu in the sky, but now you're going to have one less person to deal with Jake.
Right.
Unfortunately, I feel like an uncontested Pharah in the sky is a much bigger deal than a Genji that is perhaps dealing with less pressure, and the results were very plainly obvious.
Yeah, when you stack up resource for resource, what you're using, because Genji, once again, you know, he can make some plays by himself, but he really excels in that team environment where he's completing kills, contributing to damage. Whereas Pharah, I mean, Mangachu's just going around getting a lot more damage and potentially even securing kills solo because he can get to your back line, especially if you're not really dealing with him. And we did see that come to fruition. That means that after Nepal, coming into map number 4, it is LG Evil who is down 1-2. And so they are going to be selecting this map. They selected Watchpoint Gibraltar. Any expectations coming into this one?
I think it should be a good map for LG Evil. I think they didn't want to necessarily go to Dorado because, RNG is better at Dorado. They're 2-2 so far. Gibraltar is a map that they're comfortable on, taking high ground, and they can run a lot of different things. But other than that, we weren't expecting this to be LG Evil's map choice or to be down in the series. So,
So for me, I remember back when LG Evil played against Rogue on this map, and I think something that's really worth noting is they can be outmaneuvered. How they're going to try and play this map is very simple. They're going to control the server room, and they're going to say, come fight us in the server room. If you can work around that, get them out of the server room, you can put them in a zone where you can really take them out. And in particular, when you're on your own attack, if you can avoid it, all the more power to you. The problem is that if you let them really get hardened up in that room, and then you take fight after fight there and you don't break them, that's bad. So that's probably the terms that we're going to see here as both teams compete here in sunny Gibraltar.
Yeah, well, and is this one of the maps they brought 4 tanks against Rogue? I'm trying to remember. Well, either way you slice it, we're going to find out what they have to bring, as Renegades have brought much more than many expected, up 2-1 in the series, coming into Gibraltar, going to try to close it out here, while LG Evil, they're looking for Game 5.
Well, LG Evil on the attack, so we have no idea what they're going to be running. That Rogue reference you made is actually very critical, too, because a lot of how Rogue did it when they were on offense especially is they avoided server room by sending 2 up top maybe or 2 somewhere else. Meanwhile, there's always one person getting a free meter push here, free meter push there. Then when they're spread out somewhere else, oh, let's send the Genji back, free meter push. And you get it through those really difficult choke areas, thinking specifically of car wash. And then by the time you're in front of the server room, you're in position to where you want to be anyway on the offense to fight there. So we'll see how that shakes out. Jake on the McCree. Train's going to be with him on Diva. Mangachu this time around running a Soldier 76.
Unless they get success in the first push, Jake's not going to be in this McCree long. He is only out here because they were expecting a Pharah, potentially.
Maybe. We'll see. Jake has been running this McCree a little bit more often than most people. I do agree that it's mostly for the Pharah, but it can also shut down some of these flankers. Gets a nice little shot onto Jesus to deter him from doing anything. Going to keep his eyes on that, and we'll see how this battle ensues. Jake's going to go down with his team. His team has to retreat as well as they're taking a high ground. Slow pushing so far.
And now we head into the server room, and this is where, of course, LG Evil loves to fight. This is a huge mistake by Renegades to actually take the fight in here, and oh no. Nap time for Tracer. met by a bullet, and now Jake can get the bit cleanup here. This is where you don't fight LG Evil. You don't fight them in the server room. It's bad. It does not work out well. This is their home ground, if there ever was one. Maybe they were all IT guys. Who knows? Either way, they clean up that fight relatively quickly. Renegades caught out of position, and what else can you say there?
We need the Tespa splash screen to show all their majors. Probably a bunch of computer science down there. They are going to boost the D.Va to try to lock out this point, make sure no shenanery can slow it down, as that is going to be a tactical assault visor from the top, getting mostly shut down by Trains. D.Va, Mangachu all up in his lonesome, has to run away, glow or not, and that is a very successful first take from LG Evil.
Split spawn time, Mangachu going down, not able to get away. He was hoping it, but Jake on McCree had some other plans, and they just can't get away.
But this is so important. The momentum with the first push into Gibraltar second is huge. If you can get it all the way over here, Jake's going to be setting up for the highest of noons. Getting some hey there's because they're important. Keep morale up. Say hello to everyone. They're going to be pushed back into this back corner. Already a pretty successful shuttle stage. Going to try to crack this shield.
This is dirty. Oh!
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so they were dead on 3 different levels there. Graviton, D.Va self-destruct, Deadeye.
Now they're jumping off the cliff. They don't want to split spawn again. Now they're coming back in. They want to fight this. All right, 1 meter left.
They haven't had enough punishment, clearly, because this is terrible positioning. And LG Evil perhaps angry after what just happened on Control, because they are viciously picking apart Renegades right here. Everyone getting in on this. I mean, mechanically, it's a slaughter. Just Renegades not able to get anything done, and everyone from LG Evil contributing. Yikes.
Well, this will be a choke, at least on one side, the long corridor, to perhaps stall out the offense. The only thing slowing down the offense is the slow push of the cart on Gibraltar. But defense should be able to get in position to fight better now. I'm not going to say they're in position to stabilize. For that, they'd have to win a fight. Juvenile has Earthshatter. We've seen it be hit or miss from him before. They're just boosting this D.Va every chance they get. The hook will come in and yank Vol out of the equation. They will boost in Juvenile here, trying to get some.
Finally, a kill goes the way of Renegades. Multiple kills go the way of Renegades, as perhaps LG Evil going a little bit too far in front, but what a run. My goodness. Everything from mechanical play to some well-timed ult coordination. LG Evil putting on a gem of a series, and now Renegades, I actually don't like how far up forward they are. This could get punished in a very quick hurry, and now they have to quickly back out, and I just don't know if they're going to be able to back out in time.
Giving up one of the better parts of your defender's advantage, which is this long uphill hallway that you can defend at the top of, and there you go. 3 kills incoming. Jesus will take down Super with a pulse bomb behind the back, but that is it. That is going to be Aiko, not long for this world either, and this is not the position you want to let a McCree set up, and he's got his choice of high grounds once they clean up Jesus, which is right there. Will he go back? Will he go forward? Oh, actually debating the 2, is going to go forward high ground. You don't want him up here. It's going to be difficult to deal with.
Well, sometimes it's high noon and sometimes it's McCree on high is how I'm going to say this here. And this is a great position for McCree to be in. You have to deal with him, of course. He's getting flanked by an Ana of all things. But rest of LG Evil coming back in, taking down 2. 3 kills here, make it 4. As Renegade's really struggling to deal with the advantage LG Evil had positioning-wise there. Not able to take down Jake super early, and yikes.
Their best defense has been Jesus dying on the cart. It's really the only thing that has slowed down this cart the entire game.
What is that? Their best defense is Jesus taking one for the team on the cart.
Factually correct. It's the only time the cart wasn't moving was when Jesus was blinking around trying to slow it down and then eventually dying 1v5.
I just feel like if
that says a lot, does it not? That was the best defense they had?
You're not wrong.
You're just a jerk.
I don't know. I mean, we do have this thing. Don't forget about times where Renegades has been reverse swept and everything else. There is just this entire idea that Renegades runs out of steam late in series. Yeah. And right now, I'm kind of feeling if Renegades were a cell phone battery, it'd just be flashing beep, beep, low battery warning, whatever you want to call it, because throw whatever it is about map preferences, map specialties, whatever, out the window. That was a shellacking of epic proportions.
Yeah, they just got bodied. They got bodied hard. It wasn't even close. Okay, so fighting outside of spawn there on last, when they had defense, it is their style, so I understand it to that point. But last on Gibraltar, the offense has to fight uphill in a hallway. That is a huge defender's advantage just to bail on, just to spawn camp. There are other maps where spawn camping makes more sense to me.
You're not wrong. I think in that case, they're just happy to win a fight and then one to keep that moving forward, but
yeah,
clearly wasn't going to be a thing. And now, again, if I had to pinpoint the start of that terrible fiasco where Renegades just basically served themselves up on a platter to LG Evil for the entire game, it was server room, where if you've done any homework on LG Evil, you know not to fight them in the server room. Rogue didn't fight them in the server room. They went out of their way to make them fight anywhere but the room. And that's how you approach this. You don't want to fight them at a time where they're dominant. And Renegades tried that and, frankly, failed pretty spectacularly.
Did not work out. We'll see. They do have a chance. They need to complete this map to at least send it into more rounds. They are going to get a lot of free push here, as it does Pure Evil wants to hold medium high ground here. Going to rotate over to server room, excuse me. And that's where they're going to want to fight yet again. They're going to try to bait them in. It's going to be up to the Renegades offense to try to find a way to bypass this.
All right. So LG Evil here actually not holding the server room early on. I do think they're going to retreat there as soon as the temperature gets raised up even a little bit here, and that's what they're going to do. They're taking refuge here, and this is where they're okay with the payload moving up, just not up until the front of the server room. And Jake actually on adventure.
Wants his Ana.
He's going full Lily, and adventure has been found. Sherlocky taken down, but a price has been paid. Blood for blood. But the overall fight going in favor of LG Evil here, and they will be able to hold right in front of the server.
Jake is a sad panda indeed. Does not finish off that kill. Taking out the Ana is a trade that you'll make nearly every day, though, especially considering the spawns are right now about equidistance from where that payload is pushed. He'll get back here in time and maybe just even go hold high ground on his way through here. Anyway, so a first push stifled by LG Evil from Renegades. A nice hook is going to start this one off by Winston.
No. Oh, with the early pickoff coming in here from Vol, now they don't have Winston to really get in on anything, but they're also not running a good comp that... It's just frustrating because I feel like they need to wrap their way around, get in, and start applying pressure to the server room that way. They don't want to attack the server room directly. They certainly are not equipped compositionally to attack the server room properly, but they're also not going away around that will do anything but actually get them out of the server room. So this is just frustrating to watch from Renegades.
I wouldn't mind them finessing the card a little bit, taking meter by meter. Here comes a Deadeye up top. An ambitious Deadeye will take out Mangachu. Jake was getting healed during that entire time, so that is one DPS threat taking down the other. Meanwhile, server room turned into a slaughterhouse as Vol unleashed Whole Hog. Sherlocky has seen this story before. Jake's just going to take a nap.
I mean, it's okay. In the far future, those servers are absolutely bloodproof. You can splatter blood against the walls, and they will still keep Overwatch running just fine.
Oh, what I wouldn't give for a bloodproof server. Don't ask.
Oh, here comes the sound bearer in from LG Evil. Still looking to defend this here. Really dealing with the nano boost coming in from Renegades. And at the very least, Renegades has them out of the server room here, so it's much more of a winnable fight. But they're going to lose Sherlocky relatively early on. Aiko firing back on the Jake, so 5v5 here. Best opportunity the Renegades has had all match long. Self-destruct coming in, and oh, there's the hook. Goodbye and good night to Mangachu. Pulled in to his demise, and the one upside here is that the payload is far enough that you can't quite hold server room as aggressively. You can sort of bypass it now.
That is definitely the upside. If they want to just go through high ground and then swap sides, make the defense come out and fight them, they do have that option. Of course, they should not be surprised that the server room is still the hold right now. They've been holed up there all game. They're going to look for a little bit of peek here, which they've done time and again. That has led to some early hooks. Now going to get aggressive. Hammers flips the switch.
Hammers moving in, a little bit of a changeup here, but is it a good changeup is the question. The answer might very well be no. Train dying for that early dive, 65 opportunity, and they're bypassing the server immediately, but Super gets a nano boost, going to be clearing out space on the cart. Last moment maneuver here by LG Evil, but Super falls. Still, Vol up and in this fight. They can just hold a little bit longer for respawns here. Hex they can still hold, but Vol quickly in danger. Goes for the whole hog, immediately interrupted. But he's bought time.
Yeah, Diva Matrix comes out, keeps him alive. Vol has bought enough time that Sound Bear is worn off. All the alts are out from the side of Renegades. They have to win this fight.
They haven't got it yet. It's very close. It's 0.4. Will they be able to get? No, Mangachu's going to fall. The rest of LG Evil getting on top of the payload. They don't have this just yet. We're in the overtime as Renegades now trying to get the final bit of push here. Earthshatter coming down, perhaps not going to be enough, but the Graviton very well could be. 5 kills here from Renegades, and they have earned their trip into the hangar.
You're going to try to get this momentum, try to punish any split spawns. They do find an angry Reinhardt on the other side of the door.
And behind door number 1, he's known for playing Reinhardt. For LG Evil, it's Super. Guess the retail cost.
Well, not worth a whole lot right there as he goes down immediately to it. Now Renegades with some great momentum. They're going to have some ultimates to work with, but a very long first hold for LG Evil. 2 minutes left for hangar phase. They're going to get aggressive again.
Well, they are getting aggressive, and why not? The sound barrier enabling that aggression. They already win Rhine versus Rhine. 2 unanswered kills here. Mangachu, even if he won that fight, first of all, it would have been a moral victory at best. This fight very much going in favor of LG Evil, so this is pretty unfortunate for Renegades. They need to make up time, and they had a chance to blaze through hangar, but not going to be blazing through this time, as now only 1 minute 30 remaining.
Well, the fights they've won, in my opinion, have been because of Sherlocky. That's been on both sides. He's been hitting giant bio grenades. Every time that they group him up, he's there, Johnny on the spot with the Bionade, and they've been able to really kind of chew through the health pools of LG Evil because of it. So Sherlocky's going to be absolutely critical in this next fight. Going to have Nano boost up as well. Probably.
All right, Sound Bear coming in here from Renegade. Sherlocky under fire, but able to get away. Oh, not quite able to get away, but even during that time, he was not healing, which means that the Renegades offense out without an Ana for quite a while here. Still 4v4 though, so some potential of bringing it back, though their healing output very much lower. Pulse Bomb coming in, Jesus, taking down Super, so now perhaps creating a bit of an opportunity. Hog versus Hog here. D.Va able to support Vol, doesn't go down immediately, but Renegades starting to make some progress here. Under a minute remaining, but it's looking better for him.
Trained support D.Va is a magician. Every time I think someone's going to die, all of a sudden, here comes a defense matrix to keep them alive. It happens time and again. They're going to try to contest out here. Point is contested at the moment. Earthshatter will come down in the back lines. This Tracer being very annoying, but Mangachu has gone down. That is a charge onto Vol. Sherlocky is going to chime in as well. Jake on the high ground, though, uncontested. No heroes to really do it. Here comes a flanking tac visor.
Oh, this is a potentially beautiful flanking tac visor for Jake. Takes down 2 immediately. Will fall, but damage has been completely done there.
110% worth as Train gets the Bunny Blaster up.
Well, 2 seconds left remaining here. Renegades, can you even touch the cart one more time? No! Mangachu just, he had enough. He's like, no, this isn't happening. What's more important? A few extra seconds on the cart or style? Sweet, sweet style.
That's the Mangachu playbook right there. Everything he does with style, even losing in style.
Not entirely sold on that, but I'll take your word for it.
I'm trying to help him out. Let's see who gets play of the game. Style points here. And I
my God.
Yeah, Sherlocky played really well.
I actually just wish he had the Halloween mask on, so we could
watch
see
this Bionade right here.
It's a great Bionade. A way of finishing things out, but if he had the Halloween mask on, that would have been like pure what face in Twitch chat. You know what, guys? Say what face anyways. Golden Boy's awesome, and he does want to be on the top 10 emote list for Twitch again when TwitchCon rolls around this year.
We have got some unusual like sponsors. I think we've had some grilled cheese, a lot of different things.
Golden Boy's
now.
a national treasure, though. How dare you?
Hey, listen, are you saying that grilled cheese is not a national treasure?
It's not Golden Boy.
Okay,
although Golden Boy.
Just let's carry on with some Overwatch.
Okay, Overwatch. Back to Overwatch because that is what we're watching here. I feel like after this series, I just needed a breather. You know, I mean, it's 2-2 here.
Yeah.
LG Evil, they're able to bring it back against Renegades. And one thing I want to ask about Renegades is you said, well, maybe their low battery is starting to show. How much of that is they were really strong on a few maps and not as strong on these maps, or how much of that maybe is that they have been attributed to being a momentum-based team?
I'm not sure if it's momentum or just really that BO3s are more their jam than BO5s because, I mean, we're starting to get to a sample size here with Renegades where it does feel like they have lasting power problems in longer series, and that's actually very problematic as many tournaments still in the scene are not just one-off BO3s, they're longer series over the course of a longer day, and in fact, you look to their sort of disparate results in the last Overwatch Monthly Melee, I don't know why you would have significant stamina problems, but I don't know. Maybe it's a thing for Renegades.
It does seem to be too large to ignore, and we're going to be going into a map 5. I think last week we had problems here where they were going, and they started looking very sloppy. And
Yes.
that was the issue why we even began entertaining the idea that fatigue and endurance might come to mind, because they were making plays they hadn't made all night. They were playing more individually than as a team. This map in particular, we'll see what side they want to be on. I think we're going to Eichenwald.
Doesn't it look like that?
But a lot of jump ups on the high ground got completely shut down, completely denied, and they were going alone, going staggered. So we'll see. But yeah, I do think they have an endurance issue.
Yeah, well, and this is going to be testing that endurance and their stamina, coming in here to go that extra mile into Game 5. And they're looking to be the first team to potentially upset LG Evil. The question is, do they have that staying power? Don't look at me like that.
I'm just full of joy from the previous conversation.
Yes,
thinking, what would Mr. X do? And that's all I can think about right now. So apparently, I'm making everyone else laugh here.
I do have some questions.
You think that, then you do the opposite. This is how you should live your life.
Do the opposite of X.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, either way, I do have some questions. Let's just recheck in. We've been through the 2 and 2, or it's almost like a best of 1 now. It's a really bad way to think about it, but I'm going to go and think about it that way. Let's revisit our players to watch. So Juvenile versus Super. What have we seen out of these two this series so far?
I think it's been pretty even, but I think that can always happen when you have Juvenile who's going to take chances, going to take risks, that as Super, you're not always expecting it. It's been somewhat back and forth. I don't think either of them have had enormous standout games, but that's kind of what you want from your Reinhardts. I think overall, if I was still drafting today, I'd start with Super.
Oh, certainly. And although I will say that for Juvenile, I was pretty harsh on him in the very beginning. I do think that consistency has had issues, but this has been a better series for him so far. It hasn't been the complete outplay mismatch that I thought it would be early on. So bravo, the Juvenile. Now let's see if he can bring it home going into a final map.
He's making a lot of his charges. He's charging Super. He's taking the fight to Super before it can happen to him, which I think is smart. That's how you deal with Super.
Well, I feel like maybe the reason that he's standing out a little bit more and maintaining some consistency is, I think that the area, if I had to pin down the one thing that really has been his opportunity, is with the actual Reinhardt Shield Earthshatter battle. And we haven't seen as much of that. There haven't been as many standoffs. It's been pretty high intensity coming in, and that's where we start talking about stamina again. But the only other thing I wanted to ask, oh my gosh.
I'm going to burst out laughing.
No, you're the problem. You need to lock it down.
I'm trying. I don't know why.
What's in his water over there? I don't know.
Oh, I always spike his water
the
with various chemicals.
We're in Colorado. Who knows?
Got to loosen things up here. There's going to be some memes going on with that.
You know what? It's good to be joyous. What can I say?
But either way, Eichenwald. Let's refocus. We've been really having to refocus here. It's been a little bit of a long night.
Yeah, sure.
This is going to be practice for tomorrow night, where we're going to have 3 best of 5s. So be prepared for that. But yeah, coming into Eichenwald, how are we feeling? Do we feel like that LG Evil really has built up that momentum, that they're honestly stronger on these maps in general? Are they going to be able to close it out here?
Well, probably yes, because the last time Renegades ran out of steam and fell apart, what was the final map?
Eichenwald.
So this is a case where Renegades is either going to defeat their demons and come out with a great victory over the current #1 team, not taking the #1 seed, but certainly sending a statement, or a little bit of the same coming back at them where they're just not able to finish things out strong. So one way or another, we are going to get some answers here as we head to Eichenwald for the final map tonight here in the Carbon Series.
Well, one way or another, it is good that Renegades has shown us that there is at least one team that can hang with LG Evil, that can give them a little bit of a fight. So it's not LG Evil's tournament just yet. Not ready to crown them just yet.
No, certainly not. And I mean, at the very least here is that Renegades has made a bit of a statement, although I do think they've actually given a little bit of insight into a potential weakness of LG Evil, where when LG Evil has struggled here tonight, it has been more against things like Pharah. So it does bring to mind the idea that perhaps going against LG in the future, when they're not running with their ritual falling off the map here. Not sure why I'm pausing. Something's going on.
Everyone jumped off. Aren't you concerned? Shouldn't we call the Eichenwald authorities? They're into the moat. Someone throw them a life vest.
Someone has to feed the crocodiles.
That's true. I didn't think about the crocodiles. I should have thought about
when
the
you
crocodiles.
respawn for free, I mean, what's the big deal?
Fair enough. We do have, I believe, as we are rotating through the map, that's the high ground that we saw Renegades donate bodies to. Last time we saw them on this map trying to take that high ground, simply crawling up the cliff and meeting a Winston up there. It was a couple of the unfortunate deaths that we had. There is the gate with its tiny little cute door. No one uses that door. You should be able to, like, Sombra should be able to go through that door, and only Sombra.
That would be one way of getting through there, but I mean, then what does the battering ram do in that case? Got to think about all angles here.
I think the battering ram should knock down everything except for that door, like an old Western.
And let me just tell people here, despite what you're seeing in the live feed, you're still very much alive. That is real life just telling you wrong things right now. Guys, just wipe away the sweat beads. Everything's going to be okay.
Can you imagine if this was your afterlife, listening to us talk about Overwatch?
Well, that means that you committed some terrible deeds in your real life now, doesn't it?
You heard it here first. Live right, folks. Live right.
I mean, don't be a Hanzo main.
Wow. Oh, man. It doesn't matter because, like, the one Hanzo main in chat isn't going to say he's offended by it because he doesn't want to out himself as a Hanzo main. Now, it's generally... And we call people specialists here. Hanzo specialist.
Yes. And for the record, I am just kidding around here. Play whatever you want. Overwatch game. Many heroes available.
Except Junkrat. You yell at me whenever I play Junkrat. I play Junkrat in quick play and ZP looks disgusted at me.
I don't even have to say anything. I just give Hex dirty looks.
Hey, sometimes you just want to fire and forget it, you know? Fire and forget it. And who doesn't like the character? It's like a little clown in your life.
So for those who are wondering what is going on update here wise, there is a mouse swap going on at the moment. Another one is being grabbed, presumably being plugged into the PC. Kind of like to imagine that you added some NASCAR sound effects there, pit crew, setting it up, attaching to the mouse bungee, going forward.
Maybe one day esports will get to that, where when people are at LANs and something and there's a keyboard malfunction, you have to bring in a crew of 3 people to spread everything out, yank it out, and
literally have sound effects, like pit crew sound effects.
Yeah, and you'd watch them try to plug in the USB port wrong, flip it over, it'd be wrong again, flip it over, it's wrong again, defying physics.
Just the struggles.
Am I the only one with that USB problem?
You are the only one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. At some point, you might want to get that checked out.
Well, I'm back. Hello, everyone.
Welcome back.
Just because of this mouse pause. And I actually have a fun fact. This was a question earlier. How expensive are those tires? Well, I don't know what the market looks like, what the US dollar value would be in the future. But if you bought it today, it'd be about $40,000.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know,
Just
right?
a tire.
It's not even a future tire. I mean, you throw in inflation, everything else.
I'll tell you, that tire
you mean
definitely...
inflation like within the tire or the dollar?
Why not
Oh,
both?
my gosh.
I'm going to reject your crappy pun there and just just power through that.
You'll laugh at everything except my attempts at puns.
I will
Talk about
laugh at
inconsistency
many a
here.
thing that entered my mind.
Inconsistency.
Well, let's not bring back the giggles. Or maybe let's bring back the giggles because we have to fill here while a mouse is being swapped out.
Well, that's
How
the
long
nice
does
thing
that
about being in a team house, right? There should just be a pile of mice
I feel
somewhere.
like it should be above them. They, just like drops
Yeah.
down like a Pez dispenser, upside down Pez
Well, I mean,
dispenser.
that is the upside. You are sponsored by a hardware sponsor, and they send you lots of extra things. So, I mean, you have it on tap pretty much like the opening here to Eichenwald, where it doesn't seem like this place has gotten much business.
No, I think the tourism population probably dropped when the Omnics invaded, and the town went to rubble.
But I mean, the real question is, anything still good in those kegs?
Probably.
There you go.
As long as they're untapped. Maybe a little,
It's a reason to visit.
pest.
Minus the Omnic infestation problem.
Well, the Omnics have been dealt with. Now you can just pick out one of these houses, assume squatters' rights, raid whatever's left of the town. I mean, that's where I'd go. Regardless, on this attack, we do have Sherlocky on Zenyatta again, something they've been mixing in with this dive composition. Defensively, they're expecting Pharah, and they've got Jake to deal with it. We'll see how well he can do. Other than that, a lot of tanks. So Jake, kind of on his lonesome. We've seen a McCree and an Ana able to deal with a Pharah very well.
All right, so we'll see how this LG Evil defense does with this. Of course, I'm sure for their point of view, they'd love to get first point hold and end this right now. As Jake goes in deep, whiffs the flashbang. That's a bit embarrassing, to say the least. But Train, being the glue here in the backline, able to take down one onto Tracer Jesus, falling immediately. So despite being down to McCree, LG Evil still going to be very much in this first defense. That's going to give Jake plenty of time to lick his wounds and come back in. And I will note, in terms of what they're running here, they're not running the Zen, but they are still running Jake. So Jake going to have to deal with Mangachu without a whole lot of support this time around.
Yeah, maybe Rob can help him out a little bit. So get a one shot in there, let Jake hit the headshot. He's been good at hitting those, but hopefully not another play for the McCree low light reel incoming, because that was pretty rough for him. He's actually going to battle Mangachu in the back, who's been on the flank. Got to be careful, though. Already at 90, cannot eat another rocket.
Yeah, he doesn't even want to take the chance there. Possibly winnable, but why even fight that? Now, why Mangachu is out that far back with no one near him?
How did that flashbang not hit?
I don't know, but this is so questionable. Mangachu, what are you doing?
Got a free tick.
He did get a free tick, I guess, but he's also going to die and lose quite a bit of time here. So, I mean, somewhat worth, I guess.
Forced out Nano. I mean, there were some benefits to what he did. I'm not saying it was perfect, but
it's one of those things where it worked out probably better than it should have worked.
Right.
But it's still just, I'm not sure why he's back there all alone to begin with, and then coming in all alone.
Well, just fairer things, I suppose. But that flashbang, if it had hit that I thought it did, it probably would have denied that first tick. Would have denied a lot. Wouldn't have had to use the Nano. A lot of things could have gone better for them, but this front line of LG Evil, reminiscent of their Hammers days, we're going to put all the meat on the ground up front. I dare you to fight us. So far, it's been all LG Evil.
They cash in the Graviton for the free team fight there, and really, if there was a window of opportunity for Renegades, it is this next upcoming fight. They might have enough time for 2 fights, but if they spend ultimates, it's all down to this. But Soundbeer can really ruin a lot of what they're going for here, even if they open the Transcend. So they're going to open in here. Dragon Blade is up. Aiko, this is time to use the Dragon Blade. He's just waiting for it, and might actually be able to save it. Ferret the Barrage taking down 1, so 2 unanswered kills. Late Dragon Blade coming in. Nothing Jake can do at that point. 3 kills here from Renegades, so is looking like they're going to get this payload moving. Be pretty difficult for LG Evil to actually come back into the point right now.
A couple nice opening kills there from Mangachu on the barrage, able to open it up, and Aiko very patient. Use that Dragon Blade towards the end to make sure that they are able to secure, see if they run into any problems up here. This is where they staggered and fed a little bit last time, trying to take this high ground. Jake takes down Mangachu early. That's going to open up this defense to take the high ground advantage back. A hook onto Aiko late. Pulls him down as well, and now it is a scramble for cover as Jake has his revolver out.
Hammers, they don't care about where your spawn point is. They're going to get almost up to the spawn door, but after taking their price of blood, they start backing out here once more, and aggressive defense coming out here. 3 minutes left remaining for a second. Plenty of time for Renegades to get through, but I gotta say LG Evil reestablishing pretty strongly here.
Well, there's a Winston going up, and now Jake's just going to ignore him. Goes for the flashbang on the backside, able to take down Sherlocky. Mangachu taken down by Avas there, too. This is one angry electric cowboy taken down. Eventually, Jesus might be able to turn this back. Gets 2 kills.
That is easily one of the most aggressive diving cowboys I have seen. There were no breaks on the Jake train, because not only did he get nano boosted, but he also got speed boosted and rolled forward all at the same time. When McCree wants in, Hex.
Is able to bust down that door, but Jesus with a double kill late in there, allowing them to pull this back, get some free push. Now going to look for the knockoff, and Grab comes in on the bottom. Only grabs a couple, but they will clean it up. Sherlocky and Juvenile go down. LG Evil looking to stabilize.
LG Evil certainly off the Graviton. I mean, they take out 1, which gets a free pick. I'm not sure it's a great Graviton usage, but Hook comes in from Train, and this is going to let them stabilize a little bit more. Although Jesus Mangachu trying their best, but not going to be quite enough.
It is kind of an anomaly, though, because LG Evil is a team that I don't necessarily think of economy when I think about them. They want to win fights, and they'll fight fights. It doesn't matter what they have or what they don't have generally in the way it does for other teams. They will take a fight regardless of their situation.
Well, we're about to have 4, if not 5 ultimates up here on the Renegade side, so their window for second quick approaching here with a minute 30 left. And again, it's going to be versus a Sound Bearer. So we'll see if LG Evil can have a little bit more success from this angle. But Mangachu coming from back. Barrage is coming in. Justice raining from above. Does not do anything. Immediately taken down. Not getting his target. Transcendence coming in, and here comes Aiko. Dragon Blade unsheathed. Moving to the back. 2 kills here from Renegades. doesn't get as much from the Dragon Blade as he's looking for here. Jake can try and pull this back, and actually for converting that many ultimates, Renegades coming away with very little indeed.
That was terrible. Ico may be able to bring us back now that all have faded, but Transcendence should have been able to help him out earlier. Some of the things just were seconds off from being as useful as they could have been, and because of all that, now look at this war chest. LG Evil went into that with nothing. They're coming out with everything. Renegades, vice versa. Went into it with a lot, coming out with nothing.
All right, so Vol now has Graviton Surge. And now really with one more fight left, there's a really big opportunity for LG Evil to fully just win this. I mean, look at how many ultimates they have up here. Renegades on the verge of getting stopped here, and that could very well mean an end to the series, not in their favor. Here comes LG Evil unengaging, and they take down 3 immediately, make it 4. Vol sets the stage, Jake and Super with the cleanup. 13 seconds remaining, and I'm not even sure Renegades is gonna be able to touch this again. I feel like most of the times I say that, they touch it and then die immediately, so clearly that's what I'm cursing them to.
We just need to get you a little kilometer-based map of Eichenwald. They are going to be able to barely get back on it. That is Winston there, but 3 die in the process, and that is an Earth Shatter all over but the Cryin now for Renegades, unable to get the cart past this second point. I gotta say, the Jesus swap onto Widow, in theory was great. Had a couple shots that he didn't convert, one of them being on a falling Jake, unable to knock that cowboy out of the air, but
I know
there were more problems than that.
I know the Widow desperation all too well there. It's like everything else is failing. Let's just hope I hit a headshot or 2 or 3.
Yeah. I'm going Widow. So there it is. Pretty easy win condition on the board for LG Evil. Of course, former Hammers Esports. If you're just catching up to the comings and goings, they've been LG Evil for nearly a week now, I think. So breaking it in pretty well. All they have to do is get to about halfway to second point on Eichenwald, and they will win the set. But this has been a closer set than they were used to.
Certainly is closer, although unfortunately could be a bit of a painful memory here for Renegades, because where they have to hold, I mean, really, I feel like if LG Evil takes first, this game is all but over. It's up to Renegades to find a way of holding first here. And this is where I think if you're Renegades, I mean, on one hand, you practice how you want to play, but I do wonder if now it's time for, say, Symmetra Gamble. And even though you don't play it, you realize that you want to play the composition that gives you the higher chance of full hold, even if it's not the composition that holds out more time on the average. Because full hold is their victory condition here, in my mind.
Well, Renegades does play it, though. They've played it more than anyone, double builder.
True, but it does feel like they've been getting away from it in recent times.
That's true. I'm thinking mostly the first week or so, and then also some of the OMM stuff, they ran a lot more double builder. But of all the teams in the tournament, they're probably the most familiar with it. Does not look like we'll be seeing any, any aspects of the build team coming out. Jur would be the one who would be playing the Symmetra very likely. Mangachu would be on the Torb. Neither are on those heroes. They're going to run a single DPS in the back. This can be Jesus. Running a lot of tanks. Mangachu will be on that Roadhog. On the other side of things, attack. Taking a page out of the Renegades book. Jake is going to be on the Pharah, and they're running 3 additional DPS. So very aggressive team.
Well, Jake almost going down as quickly as he goes in. Lucky to get away with his life, eating a lot of poke damage early on. But still going to live in LG Evil now, getting through this early archway uncontested. The Renegades opening the door for them, so to speak. We'll see if they can slam it back in their face as LG Evil looking to come in from all sides. And here comes Jake diving into the back line, getting in on both supports. Big rockets in from Jake, and Sherlocky immediately thrown off of the point. What a beautiful engagement there from Jake. 2 kills to 1 in favor of LG Evil, and suddenly this is looking very good here for the side of LG Evil. Just need a little bit more and they will take point A quickly.
Well, Ico's been causing them a little bit of fits. Jesus still alive, trying to bring this back. He has been the most steady part of this team. Does cause Jake to murk himself, but Jesus does go down in the process. They were running Rob 420 on Soldier 76. The only healing they had was a Vast on Lucio. But I mentioned it earlier, the mark of a great Pharah is how well you use those concussions. Using that to launch himself in the room. Surprise, here are some rockets. How do you deal with that? Oh, wait, you're dead.
So for Renegades, now they must hold for 5 minutes, 10 seconds, not even for all of second, but to the midpoint of second. Much easier said than done as Train able to find Ico early on. Pulse Bomb connects, and I'm not really sure why Mangachu is back here. This is the second time where, I mean, it works out, I guess, but this is, given that their margin of victory here is one fight, I get it, they're trying to expand it out a bit, but still.
It's in that iffy area where they can lose up here and get back and still fight, is why they're fighting up here. This is also part of their styles. Renegades has been doing this as long as anyone else, including Selfless, this ultra-aggressive spawn camp nature. Look, they're making them burn out some kind of utility. They did boost the Reinhardt up front, so they have to do this for 4 minutes, though.
That's the problem, is that the way I see this movie ending is that even if they succeed here for another minute, it's going to end in a gigantic team wipe against them. The payload's going to get right to the point, and then they're just barely going to get out in time. But they're going to be up against so many ultimates from LG Evil that's going to be so hard for them to actually defend that second time.
Well, still having a hard time getting out here. A missed hook there does not open the door for them. Jake does take down Mangachu, though. That is 2 kills. This could be the prophecy you just laid out for us fulfilling.
All 2 kills here from LG Evil, and this is where Renegades, they just need to back out, not feed as much ultimate in the way. They want to have a chance at defending the next fight, but this fight going fully against them here. Now, 1 fight away is LG Evil from getting over the hump, defending their #1 status, and sending Renegades away.
Ultimate statuses are upcoming. It's going to be super with Earthshatter. Aiko and Jesus have the Big Bang combination available to them. Jake's in a nice spot to just throw down some suppressing fire. So he's forcing them all over there. Also going to have recon on where they're going to be setting up. They're not taking the long way around.
Jake goes off for basically no reason. So Jake now coming in over the top. No one really on him here. Big opportunity as Fair coming in from the side. Goes for knockoff. Almost
so
gets
close.
Reinhardt into the moat. Does not happen. Instead, Big Bang combo comes out. Only picks up 1. And Jake's still a threat here. Over the top. 2-1 in favor of LG Evil. The Big Bang has fallen flat. And Renegades about to be dispatched here in map number 5. Everyone falling. Yellow box victory has been achieved. And LG Evil takes it over Renegades. 3-2 in a very close series.
Very close indeed. Renegades with their aggressive defense, a gambit that they have been known to run in the past, were able to get people on the card in time, which again, it's a mathematics game of, is this card far enough away that we can get another fight here? They decided it was. They did get another fight, maybe not optimal position, but I think they had the fight they wanted there. Appropriate enough that the former Hammers Esports, LG Evil, closed it out by this man swinging the hammer.
On some level, we're always going to associate them with things that
Are
hammers. Other
yeah.
things.
Well, it also just Super was their mascot when they made their name of Hammers, and you see why.
Well, I mean, when you protect a Reinhardt and he gets that much done, why not?
I was actually thinking at that very play, I was like, the algorithm probably won't call that the best play, but it does seem fitting that Super ended out that way, and apparently the algorithm got it right this time. Well, I don't want to dig too deep into this match, but I just want to talk about Jake versus Mangachu. Jake played McCree and Fair primarily. Any final thoughts on that matchup out of this best of 5?
I think Jake probably overall won that matchup, but I think Mangachu gifted him some lives that he didn't have to go. The one I know that you want to talk about coming over the side, then coming back in was a little bit odd. I think Mangachu was playing a little over aggressive.
Again, I also think it's just this entire idea where Renegades gets loopier as the day goes on. I don't know if we see Mangachu off there